Hey family, welcome back to my video. Today we will see, what if Naruto was son of desperate virgin goddess? Before we start, I would like to extend my sincere thanks to the original author of this story for granting us permission to use it in our YouTube video. Your generosity is greatly appreciated. The author's creation and the original stories link in the descriptions. Please do check that first. Now enjoy the video. It was a dark and momentous night when everything changed for Minato Namikaze, the Hokage of Konoha. The date was December 10th, the day he was about to become a father. However, Minato knew that danger lurked in the shadows, and he couldn't let his guard down. His wife, Kushina, also known as the Red Death of Konoha, had a secret. She was the holder of the mighty Kyubi, the strongest of the 9 great demons, inherited from her aunt, Mito. Uzumaki, Senju. Kushina had mastered the power of the tailed beast. Mito had warned her about the risks involved, especially during childbirth. When female Jinchuriki like her were giving birth, their seals weakened, posing a threat of the beast breaking free. Minato was well aware of the destructive force Kyubi possessed, and he was determined to protect his family at all costs. As the fateful day arrived, Minato's most trusted ninja, Kakashi Hitaki, reassured him about the safety of their location. Kakashi, wearing his signature dog mask, spoke with respect, but Minato reminded him to drop the formalities. The two shared a bond beyond mentor and student, as Kakashi was the last surviving member of Minato's team, having lost Obito Uchiha and Rin before they became Chunin. Minato carried the weight of their deaths, blaming himself for not saving them. However, in the face of impending fatherhood, he set aside his guilt and focused on protecting his new family. The time drew near, and Kushina lay in bed, her hands and legs secured for safety. Minato approached her, and she woke from her slumber. They exchanged playful banter, expressing their excitement and concerns. Kushina playfully threatened Minato, vowing to kill him if the pain was unbearable. Minato teased her about their future child inheriting her fiery spirit, and they shared a heartfelt moment. Despite the anticipation, Minato made sure Kushina was all right before the birthing process began. Bawako Sarutobi, the wife of the 3rd Hokage Hiruzen Sarutobi, arrived, providing support and checking on Kushina's well-being. Bawako, an elderly woman with an air of nobility, was not a ninja but possessed wisdom and experience. Kushina reassured her that Minato had not been bothering her and that they were discussing their future child. Bawako sensed the confirmation she needed and prepared to assist in the birth. Minato was by Kushina's side, holding her hand over the seal that contained the great demon's power. Kushina, in excruciating pain, held onto Minato tightly. He comforted her, reminding her of her strength. Amidst the tears and agony, their child was born a set of triplets. Minato was both surprised and overjoyed by the unexpected arrival of 3 children. The oldest, a boy, had his father's beautiful blue eyes, though his facial features resembled his mother's. He also displayed faint hints of blonde hair, just like Minato. The second child, a girl, bore a striking resemblance to Kushina, inheriting her mother's face, eyes, and vibrant red hair. However, she possessed 3 distinctive whisker-like marks on each cheek, evidence of Kyubi's chakra flowing within her. Just as the family celebrated their new, Minato was looking at his children when he heard the sound of a blast. It looks like they're under attack. Minato looks with horror when a man comes through the door. The door is closed, but that doesn't stop Maskman from coming in. He somehow phased through the door like they never there began with. Minato looks at their intruder. He doesn't look that old, but he could tell he is powerful just by looking at him. He also has some unique abilities that let him phase through objects. Minato also sees so much blood on him that indicates he also killed everyone who stood in his way. Minato was somehow concerned about Kakashi. But that's not the main problem here right now. Here he has 3 children and an unconscious wife to take care of. If it is just him, that won't be a problem and he may defeat this masked man with no problem. But right now his main focus is to protect his family. Hokage, I suggest you give up on Jinchuriki. I will let you and your kids go unharmed. The masked man says without hint of any emotions. I will not let you even touch my children and my wife. Surrender now or I have to use force. Minato said without even hint of fear. Very well then, Mask said and ran forward with binding speed. Minato wasn't called a yellow flash of Konoha for nothing. He quickly moved to interfere with him, but unfortunately he passed through him and took the newly born boy as hostage. Minato has fear in his eyes. Now that his newborn boy's life is in the enemy's hand. Now choose between Jinchuriki and this newborn child Hokage, he said, and throw baby in the air. Minato quickly moves to catch him. Masked Man also attached some explosion seals on him, so Minato doesn't have time to save both his son and wife. Minato's heart raced as he watched the Masked Man's cruel game unfold before his eyes. He could feel the weight of the situation pressing down on him. With each passing moment, the tension grew, and he knew he had to act quickly. Seeing the explosive seals attached to him, Minato made a split-second decision. He extended his arm, using his incredible speed and reflexes to catch his newborn son in midair. The moment was filled with a mix of relief and fear as he clutched his child protectively against his chest. However, the threat to his wife still loomed. Minato's gaze shifted back to the Masked Man, his eyes burning with determination. He couldn't let his fear paralyze him. He had to find a way to protect his family. Minato's eyes burned with a mix of determination and fear as he watched the Masked Man take his newborn son hostage. His heart raced, but he refused to let panic consume him. The safety of his family was paramount, and he was prepared to do whatever it took to protect them. As the Masked Man taunted him, Minato's mind raced, analyzing every possible move. He knew he had to act swiftly and decisively. Without a moment's hesitation, he focused his attention solely on saving his son, his instincts guiding him. The weight of responsibility settled heavily on his shoulders. With lightning-fast reflexes, Minato lunged forward, his body a blur as he reached out to catch his baby boy midair. Time seemed to slow down as he extended his arms, his heart pounding in his chest. In that fleeting moment, he felt a surge of relief as he successfully caught his son, cradling him protectively in his embrace. But as Minato held his son close, he couldn't ignore the explosion seals attached to his body. The realization hit him like a punch to the gut. He had been forced into an impossible choice, and the consequences were dire. He knew he couldn't save both his son and his wife, Kushina. The guilt threatened to consume him, but he pushed it aside, focusing on the task at hand. The explosive seals detonated with a deafening blast, sending shockwaves through the area. Minato was thrown backward, his body battered and scorched by the force of the explosion. The pain seared through him, but he refused to let it weaken his resolve. Masked Man's sudden disappearance with the unconscious Kushina left Minato devastated, helpless and filled with frustration. He watched as the mysterious figure evaporated into thin air, seemingly swallowed by some unseen force. Kakashi, witnessing the heartbreaking scene, tried to confront the intruder but was swiftly defeated, sustaining injuries to both his legs that hindered his mobility. Despite his injuries, Kakashi blamed himself for not being able to protect the Hokage and Kushina. However, Minato reassured him, explaining that the Masked Man possessed the ability to phase through souled objects, rendering even their formidable powers useless. Determined to ensure the safety of their children, Minato made a difficult decision. Recognizing Kakashi's incapacitated state, Minato resolved to teleport him and their children to the safety of his home. It was the most secure place they could be while he embarked on the urgent mission of finding Kushina. Though Kakashi protested, acknowledging his injury and inability to defend the children effectively, Minato insisted, trusting his loyal friend to protect their precious ones. Wasting no time, Minato swiftly executed his teleportation jutsu, whisking Kakashi and the children away to the refuge of his home. Once they were safely transported, Minato's focus shifted entirely to the task at hand: locating Kushina. Minato's heart pounded with fear and determination as he frantically searched for his wife, Kushina. Every passing moment felt like an eternity, and the weight of his worry pressed heavily upon him. He couldn't bear the thought of losing her, not after all they had been through. His desperation turned into a burning rage as he swore that when he encountered the Masked Man again, he would make him pay for his actions. The very idea of revenge fueled his every step, propelling him forward with a resolute determination. Suddenly, an overwhelming surge of malevolent chakra enveloped the area, sending shivers down Minato's spine. Dread painted his face as he comprehended the magnitude of what had just transpired. The Masked Man had succeeded in releasing the Nine Tails, one of the most powerful and destructive demons in existence. Time seemed to freeze momentarily as Minato's mind raced to come up with a plan. With unparalleled speed, He darted toward the source of the disturbance, propelled by a blend of adrenaline and love for his wife. Minato's agile movements allowed him to arrive just in time. Witnessing the scene that unfolded before him, there stood Kushina, barely able to stand, while the colossal form of the Nine Tails loomed over her menacingly. The hatred radiating from the beast's eyes was palpable, a reflection of its tormented existence as a sealed entity. Though the Nine Tails despised Kushina, Minato found solace in the fact that, for the moment, she was safe. Summoning every ounce of strength within him, Minato unleashed his Thunder God Jutsu, the technique that had earned him the infamous moniker of the Yellow Flash. In an instant, he teleported to his wife's side, wielding his tri-pointed kunai with a firm grip. Pulling Kushina into a tight embrace, Minato used his legendary jutsu once more, transporting them all to the safety of their home. Waiting there were their precious children and Minato's loyal student, offering a glimmer of hope amidst the chaos that had unfolded. As they found themselves in the familiar warmth of their household, Minato felt a mix of relief and determination. He knew that their struggle was far from over, but he also recognized the strength that resided within their family. With unwavering resolve, Minato vowed to protect his loved ones and bring an end to the masked man's reign of terror, no matter the cost. Kakashi's heart raced as he initially mistook the approaching figure for an enemy. However, a wave of relief washed over him when he realized it was his sensei, Minato. Concern etched across his face. Kakashi couldn't help but voice his worry. Is Lady Kushina okay? Sensei? Minato's expression softened as he replied, she is all right for now, but we have more pressing matters to attend to. That man somehow broke the seal and freed the Kyuubi. With a determined gaze, Minato added, you stay here. I have the village to protect. Without waiting for a response, he swiftly teleported away, leaving Kakashi behind. Meanwhile, atop the Hokage Tower, Minato surveyed the chaotic scene unfolding below. The immense power of the Nine Tails had enabled it to breach the village's defenses and wreak havoc within. Minato deduced that the man responsible must have teleported the beast directly into the heart of the village. The sight of the village's destruction weighed heavily on his shoulders, knowing that humans had sealed the Kyuubi away for over a century. As Minato observed, a menacing glow emanated from the Nine Tails, signaling its preparation for its most dreaded attack, the Bijudama. The air crackled with an amalgamation of red and blue chakra as a massive sphere formed in its gaping maw. The destructive power of this chakra cannon aimed to obliterate the entire village in one fell swoop. But before it could be unleashed, Minato's lightning-fast reflexes kicked in, and he teleported the Bijudama to a nearby forest, sparing the village from annihilation. Realizing that engaging the Kyuubi within the village would only spell further disaster, Minato strategized his next move. He employed his unparalleled Flying Thunder God technique, instantly teleporting himself to the beast's side. The village's safety remained his utmost priority. With precision and speed, Minato transported the rampaging Kyuubi away from the village, determined to confront the demon in a more controlled environment. At this critical moment, Minato stood in the midst of chaos, his mind burdened with the weight of his choices. He locked eyes with the wise and concerned Hiruzen Sarutobi, the respected third Hokage of the village, who had rushed to his side. Minato, what has happened? How could Kyuubi have been released from its prison? Is Kushina safe? And where is my wife? Hiruzen asked, his voice filled with worry for his beloved spouse. With a heavy sigh, Minato gathered his thoughts and prepared himself to share the grim truth. Hiruzen, someone attacked us in a secret location, managing to kidnap Kushina. I fought to rescue her, but in the midst of the chaos, Kyuubi was set free. Regrettably, aside from my wife, our children, and Kakashi, no one else survived the encounter. That masked man mercilessly took the lives of all the guards present, Minato replied, his sorrow evident in his voice. Hiruzen's eyes widened, and a mix of shock and grief swept over him. The magnitude of the situation settled upon him, and he understood the gravity of the decision that lay before Minato. As the village descended into despair, Minato's mind raced with thoughts of his family, his duty as Hokage, and the future of the village. The image of his wife, Kushina, haunted his thoughts, knowing how fiercely protective she was of their children. He also understood the immense power held within the Uzumaki bloodline, a power capable of withstanding the overwhelming chakra of Kyuubi. The weight of the choice pressed heavily on Minato's heart. On one hand, he could protect his children, shielding them from the burdens of sealing Kyuubi within them, but it would mean risking the village's survival. On the other hand, he could sacrifice one of his children, saving countless lives but forever altering the fate of the chosen child. His mind clouded by the agony of decision, Minato knew that time was running out. Kyuubi's destructive rampage threatened to devour the village, and he could not delay any longer. Seeking a moment of solitude, he withdrew to a quiet chamber within the Hokage residence, hoping for clarity in the midst of chaos. Time passed as Minato contemplated his options. The cries of anguish from the village echoed in his ears, fueling his determination to end this catastrophe. Eventually, the path he had to tread became clear. Minato emerged from the chamber, his resolve renewed. Though the decision weighed heavily on his heart, he knew what had to be done. He found Hiruzen, who had patiently awaited his return, his gaze filled with understanding and support. "Hiruzen," Minato began, his voice steady, "I have made my choice. It pains me to do so, but I must seal Kyuubi within one of my children. It is a heavy burden, but our family carries the bloodline of the Uzumaki, and only they can withstand Kyuubi's chakra without succumbing to its power." Hiruzen nodded solemnly, recognizing the depth of sacrifice Minato was about to make. Together, they devised a plan to protect and support the chosen child, ensuring their safety and nurturing their potential as they grew. Hiruzen Sarutobi, although currently burdened by grief over his wife's death, was known as the smartest man in the village. He had earned the title of the Professor for a reason. "You explained to one of your children. So it's safe to say that Kushina gave birth to more than one child." "Yes, that's correct. We have 3 children, 2 girls and 1 boy, Minato confirmed, a glimmer of pride shining through his sorrow. Despite the dire situation they found themselves in, the mention of their children brought a smile to his face. Filled with determination, Hiruzen turned to Minato and made a request, "Can you take me to them? I have an idea that will ensure none of your children have to sacrifice their lives in the sealing process." Minato, slightly confused but trusting in Hiruzen's wisdom, complied with his request. Using his teleportation technique, he transported the 3rd Hokage to their home, where their children awaited their return. Upon seeing them, a warm smile crept across Hiruzen's face. "They are beautiful, Minato," he remarked, his eyes filled with affection for the young ones. "Now, here's my plan. Instead of choosing only one child to bear the burden of the 9-tailed fox, we will seal it within 2 of your children. This way, both of them will have a chance to survive and learn to control their chakra." Hiruzen's plan offered a glimmer of hope amidst the darkness that had enveloped the village. The 2 powerful Hokages stood together, their determination unwavering as they vowed to protect their children at all costs. "What are you saying? How can we seal Kyuubi inside 2 of them?" Minato asked, his confusion evident. Hiruzen, aware of the gravity of the situation, calmly responded, "Minato, you know what the Reaper Death Seal is, right?" Minato's eyes widened at the mention of the technique the 3rd was suggesting to use. The Reaper Death Seal involved sealing someone's soul within the belly of the Shinigami. However, the caster of this jutsu had to submit their own soul to the Shinigami as well. "You can't use that jutsu. You are going to die if you do," Minato replied, fully aware of the sacrifice it demanded. "This is the only way, Minato, and you know it." Hiruzen replied firmly. "Besides, Bawako is also gone, and my sons are old enough to take care of themselves." "But you have a wife and children to take care of," he added, considering Minato's responsibilities. "I can't change your mind, can I?" Minato stated, more as a statement than a question. Sarutobi looked at all 3 of them before finally saying, "We are going to use girls. They already have the whisker marks that suggest they were born with Kyuubi's chakra affecting them." Hiruzen's suggestion struck a chord with Minato, and he reluctantly agreed. The weight of the decision settled heavily upon their hearts. Minato couldn't help but worry about the fate of the chosen girls, but he understood the dire circumstances. The village's survival depended on their sacrifice. It was a bittersweet moment, knowing that he had to entrust the lives of these young girls to the unpredictable nature of the shinobi world. After teleporting the 3rd Hokage and his 2 girls to the location where he had earlier teleported the 9 tails, Minato swiftly devised a plan to buy enough time for Hiruzen to seal the rampaging beast. With his incredible speed and agility, Minato engaged the Kyuubi in a breathtaking display of ninjutsu, skillfully dodging its ferocious attacks and countering with precise strikes. Hiruzen wasted no time and immediately began performing the Sacred Reaper Death Seal. As he channeled his chakra and focused his will, the ancient and formidable Shinigami materialized behind him, its presence instilling both awe and fear. With a mighty grip, the Shinigami took hold of the Kyuubi, its immense power barely contained. The Shinigami, guided by Hiruzen's expert control, started the process of dividing the Kyuubi's soul into two distinct entities. With each tear, the Yin chakra and Yang chakra were separated, their essence pulsating with overwhelming energy. The air crackled with intensity as the Kyuubi's divided soul took shape, ready to be sealed once again. Recognizing the urgency of the situation, Hiruzen summoned his deep knowledge of sealing techniques. Calling upon the ancient 8 trigrams sealing style, a technique passed down from the first Hokage's wife, he expertly performed the intricate hand signs. The air shimmered with ethereal symbols as the sealing jutsu began to take effect. With profound concentration, Hiruzen sealed the yin half of the Kyuubi's essence into the young girl with the vibrant red hair, her determined gaze reflecting her newfound burden. Simultaneously, he entrusted the responsibility of the yang half to the other girl, whose hair gleamed like strands of golden sunlight. They stood tall, ready to bear the weight of the beast's power within them. The Shinigami, its task completed, returned to the realm from which it had emerged, the echoes of its presence lingering in the hearts of all who witnessed the momentous event. As it departed, it consumed Hiruzen's soul as the ultimate price for wielding such formidable sealing power. Minato, relieved to see his girls safe and unharmed, embraced them tightly, their safety bringing warmth to his heart. Deeply aware of the sacrifices made on this historic day, he vowed to honor the memory of the fallen and ensure that the third Hokage's selfless sacrifice would forever be remembered. The village of Konoha, despite the heavy losses suffered, found solace in the knowledge that the indomitable spirit of their fallen hero lived on within the two young bearers of the Kyuubi's power. The path ahead would undoubtedly be arduous, but with Minato's unwavering support and the strength of their bond, they would persevere and protect the village they held dear. Notice: I actually tried to correct my mistake and I am reporting this. I hope there are not many mistakes this time. If you find any mistake like grammar mistakes, please tell me in PM or review. Don't worry about being harsh. Mistakes make man perfect. Chapter 2: Betrayal, Love, and Vengeance. Disclaimer: I do not own Naruto and any other character in this story. Chapter 2: Betrayal, Love, and Vengeance. Rewrite. In the void-like space, a woman floated aimlessly, her skin as white as snow and long white hair flowing around her. A third eye adorned her forehead, although it remained closed for now, concealing its mysterious power. Her face radiated a beauty akin to that of a divine goddess. Suddenly, her eyes opened, though not the enigmatic third eye. Confusion filled her gaze as she struggled to comprehend her surroundings and how she arrived there. Memories flooded back. Revealing her purpose, she had been chosen from her own planet to harness the energy of this new world for chakra fruits. These fruits bestowed immense power, rivaling even that of gods. But an unexpected twist had occurred. Love had found its way into her heart, entwining her emotions with a man native to this planet. No longer did she desire to bring destruction upon it. All she yearned for now was to live a blissful life by his side. However, her partner, who accompanied her to this realm, remained committed to using the planet's energy for chakra fruits. To secure her own happiness, she had made the difficult decision to betray her partner and her own people, slaying them to protect her newfound love. The sacrifices she made were inconsequential in the face of her love for the man who held her heart captive. Today, her joy overflowed as her loyal maid shared the news of her impending motherhood. Nothing could dampen her spirits, or so she believed. Yet fate had a cruel twist in store. A stranger arrived, audaciously demanding that she abandon the man she loved and go with him. How dare anyone attempt to separate her from her beloved? She swiftly dispatched the intruder, unwilling to let anyone come between them. But another unexpected turn awaited her. The man she loved, who had been her sanctuary, now stood before her, demanding she venture to the place of the man she had slain. Did his love for her wane? Was she no longer important to him? Betrayal pierced her heart, shattering her sense of security. She had defied her own people for him, but now he intended to deliver her into the hands of others who sought her demise. Did he not cherish her anymore? Did he not care for their unborn child? A wave of sadness, anger, and betrayal washed over her, threatening to consume her very being. How dare they steal away everything she held dear? All she had desired was a life of happiness with the man she loved, yet even the divine seemed to conspire against her. If the gods denied her desires, she would ascend to their realm and seize what she yearned for. Consuming the chakra fruit crafted by her partner, she unleashed unimaginable power. Her newfound strength empowered her to exact vengeance on anyone foolish enough to try and separate her from the one she loved. She eliminated those who threatened her happiness and resolved to create a sanctuary where she and her children, whom she loved more than life itself, could live in harmony. Once again, she found solace in her newfound joy. 2 sons, her beloved treasures, filled her heart with immeasurable love. They, too, possessed the extraordinary chakra she wielded, and their devotion mirrored her own. Their lives would be brimming with happiness henceforth. Yet, perhaps the divine truly did harbor disdain for her. Once again, they wrested away her beloved, someone she cherished above all else. Her younger son harbored secrets, and her older son remained nowhere to be found. Sadness and anger consumed her anew. Desperate to understand, she delved into her younger son's mind, only to discover that he believed she was indiscriminately taking lives without reason. But she hadn't harmed anyone. Why would her own son believe such falsehoods? The pain of the situation overwhelmed her, and she attempted to erase her son's memories, unable to bear the thought of fighting against her own flesh and blood. The process was agonizing, tearing at her heart. Eventually, her older son returned, but instead of finding solace in his presence, her anguish intensified. Witnessing her younger son's allegiance to her, he committed an unspeakable act. He ended his own brother's life. The magnitude of her rage consumed her, for how could he betray his own blood? Engulfed in a fierce battle, she unleashed her powers upon him, only to find her attacks futile against his defenses. In contrast, his strikes inflicted immeasurable pain upon her. With a twist of fate, he employed his eye's formidable abilities to seal her away, trapping his own mother, the one who had given him life and loved him unconditionally. Her eyes closed, enveloped in darkness. Now, she once again opened her eyes, finding herself in a desolate, black void. She struggled to move, but her body remained unresponsive. Yet, as time passed, she noticed a glimmer of hope. She sensed chakra, a familiar energy she shared with her older son. To her surprise, the planet teemed with individuals possessing chakra. It was as if her son's chakra had been divided and distributed among the people. Questions filled her mind. Had someone forcibly taken her son's chakra and gifted it to others? Or had he willingly relinquished his power? The mysteries surrounding this development perplexed her. Additionally, she detected that the immense chakra emanating from the chakra tree had diminished, fragmented into 9 pieces scattered across the planet. Furthermore, she discerned that her older son's chakra surpassed that of others on the planet, emanating from 2 distinct individuals. One carried his son's chakra, while the other possessed a chakra craving for power. Though she held reservations about the latter, her attention was captivated by the former. She resolved to keep a watchful eye on the one connected to her son's chakra, despite her limitations. With determination, she focused her senses, peering into the lives of these families she longed to call her own. She saw them, 2 families intertwined by fate. The first family consisted of 2 young children, the eldest playing joyfully with his younger brother, both bearing dark black hair. The second family slumbered peacefully, a newborn with vibrant yellow hair lying beside 2 small girls, one with red hair, the other sharing her brother's golden locks. A woman with red hair, the children's mother, kept a vigilant watch over them. From a distance, she observed, yearning to be part of a family that would truly love her. Despite the betrayals she had endured, the yearning for unconditional love remained. She yearned to forget the pain and hardships, hoping for a chance to live a joyous life with her sons. However, she remained trapped, her body immobilized, unable to bridge the distance that separated her from her heart's desires. All she could do was watch, her eyes filled with an ache that transcended the void. The cruel reality reminded her that even with the power of a deity, she was denied the fulfillment of her deepest longing to be cherished by her own family. In that endless expanse, she clung to a flicker of hope, praying for an opportunity to reunite with her sons, to feel their love, and to find solace in the embrace of a family that would accept her unconditionally. For now, she remained an ethereal observer, a lost soul trapped in the interstice of existence, forever yearning for the love that eluded her grasp. Author note: I rewrite this chapter because I feel like there's so many mistakes and I want to fix that. You are free to point out any mistakes you find. Don't afraid to be rude and hurting my feeling. If I know my mistake, then I can fix them. A prophecy disclaimer. I do not own Naruto and any other character in this story. Chapter 3. A prophecy, rewrite. Minato Namikaze, the current Hokage of Konoha, sat in the council room surrounded by the village's clan heads and council members. The atmosphere was tense as they discussed the recent attack by the masked man and the release of the 9 tails. Danzo Shimura, one of the elders, voiced the question on everyone's mind. Hokage-sama, how did the Kyuubi attack us without any warning? What happened exactly? Minato took a moment to collect his thoughts before responding. As you all know, my wife Kushina was the Jinchuriki of the Kyuubi. We had kept her pregnancy a secret for safety reasons, but somehow the information leaked. The masked man attacked us, killing Kushina, our children, and even Kakashi. He managed to kidnap my wife, forcing me to prioritize their safety over stopping him. It was then that he broke the seal and released the Kyuubi. Concerned for Kushina's well-being, Shikaku Nara asked, "Is your wife all right, Hokage-sama? And how did you manage to stop the Kyuubi? Did you reseal it inside her?" Minato sighed, the weight of his loss evident in his voice. Kushina was not in a condition to contain the Kyuubi again. The third Hokage used a forbidden technique that requires the user's soul. He split the Kyuubi's chakra into 2 halves and sealed them inside our newborn baby girls. The room fell into silence as everyone absorbed the gravity of the situation. The presence of 2 Kyuubi Jinchuriki within the village stirred concern among some of the council members, but they held their tongues, respecting Minato's love for his family. Shikaku pressed further. How is it possible for the third Hokage to seal the Kyuubi inside 2 individuals? And where is he now? Minato explained. The third used a unique forbidden technique that involves sacrificing his own soul. The technique allows the user to extract the target's soul, which is then consumed by the Shinigami. However, in this case, the Shinigami also consumed the user's soul. Using this method, the third divided the Kyuubi's chakra and sealed it within our twin daughters. As for the third, he is no longer with us. The council members exchanged glances, astonished by the extent of sacrifice and the burden now placed upon the twin gills. Minato's eyes reflected his determination as he continued, "We need to find the masked man as soon as possible." He possessed a unique ability to phase through objects like a ghost. Despite his youth and inexperience, he proved to be a formidable adversary. We cannot underestimate his potential. Hyuga, head of the Hyuga clan, spoke up, offering a solution. Hokage-sama, my clan's Byakugan is renowned for its extraordinary vision. We can use our abilities to track down the masked man. Minato considered the suggestion and nodded. Very well, Hyuga and Sume Inuzuka. I hereby assign both of your clans to keep a vigilant watch for the masked man. We must strengthen our defenses and prevent any further attacks. With the council meeting coming to an end, Minato's attention was drawn to the sudden entrance of Jiraiya, the legendary Sannin, who appeared excited and out of breath. Annoyed, Minato scolded him for interrupting the meeting. Apologizing, Jiraiya conveyed urgent news to Minato. Minato, I was summoned to Mount Myoboku, and the great sage delivered a prophecy to me regarding the birth of 2 children in the village. Hidden in the leaves. According to the prophecy, one child will possess the ancient power of the sun, while the other will wield the power of the moon, and they will have the ability to either save or destroy the world. The room fell into a profound silence as Minato and the council members absorbed the weight of the prophecy. It was a monumental revelation that had the potential to shape the future of the village. Minato's mind raced with thoughts of his twin daughters and the immense responsibility that lay upon them. Breaking the silence, Minato spoke with a resolute tone. We must take this prophecy seriously and ensure that our daughters remain by our side. The fate of the world may rest in their hands. We cannot afford to make any mistakes. Danzo Shimura, always looking for an opportunity, spoke up. Hokage-sama, let me take charge of training your daughters. My clan possesses unique abilities and expertise that can help them harness their powers. Minato, however, remained firm in his decision. No, Danzo. I will personally take on the responsibility of training my daughters. When the time comes, I will enlist the help of Jiraiya-sensei and Tsunade-sensei, the legendary Sannin. Together, we will guide them on the path to becoming strong and responsible individuals. Shikaku Nara chimed in, understanding Minato's perspective. Hokage-sama, it makes sense to prioritize the training of your daughters, considering the immense power they hold. We must ensure they do not lose control, especially in the presence of their brother, Naruto. Minato nodded, grateful for the support. Thank you, Shikaku. We must handle this situation delicately. Our daughter's training should take precedence, but we must also keep an eye on Naruto's progress. I have faith in his resilience and determination. With the council meeting adjourned, Minato found himself alone in the room, lost in his thoughts. He contemplated the weight of his responsibilities as Hokage and as a father. The path ahead was filled with uncertainties, but he was determined to protect his village and his family. Outside the council room, Jiraiya caught up with Minato, ready to embark on his own journey. Minato, I am leaving the village for a while to search for Tsunade. She possesses invaluable medical knowledge and can aid us in nurturing your daughter's abilities. Together, we can ensure their growth and safeguard their potential. Minato placed a hand on Jiraiya's shoulder, a gesture of gratitude and trust. Thank you, Jiraiya. Your presence and guidance will be invaluable. Let us tread this path together for the sake of our children and the future of the village. As they parted ways, Minato's mind buzzed with plans for his daughter's training. He knew it would be a challenging journey, but he was determined to shape them into the heroes the prophecy spoke of. With the combined strength of his own training, the wisdom of Jiraiya and Tsunade, and the love and support of the village, he believed they could overcome any obstacles that lay in their path. Minato Namikaze, the fourth Hokage, prepared himself for the arduous task ahead, ready to guide his daughters towards their destiny and ensure the safety and prosperity of the village hidden in the leaves. Author note: I rewrite this chapter because I feel like there's so many mistakes and I want to fix that. You are free to point out any mistakes you find. Don't afraid to be rude and hurting my feeling. If I know my mistake, then I can fix them. Planning for future. Disclaimer: I do not own Naruto and any other character in this story. Chapter 4. Planning for future. Rewrite. Kaguya Otsutsuki found herself engrossed in the unfolding events surrounding her son, Naruto, and his newly named daughters, Akari and Naruko. She marveled at the uniqueness of the two girls who possessed fragments of the Nine Tails chakra, each divided in a way she couldn't comprehend. The division of yin and yang chakra within them was an ability beyond her own capabilities. Pondering over who could possess such power, Kaguya realized that only deities like gods or Shinigami could manipulate chakra in such a manner. She grew concerned, knowing that these powerful beings couldn't appear on Earth unless summoned. Someone on the planet must possess enough strength to summon a Shinigami, which made her worry for the safety of her sons. However, Kaguya didn't have to wait long to uncover the truth. The following day, Minato stood atop the Hokage Tower, prepared to address the village and reveal what had transpired. The people eagerly gathered, desperate to learn who had saved them and what led to the Kyuubi's attack. Minato began by explaining the concept of Jinchuriki to those unfamiliar with it. He then revealed the identities of the first two Jinchuriki of the Kyuubi, Mito Senju and his wife, Kushina Namikaze. The revelation shocked many, as they had never expected that the wives of the first and fourth Hokages had once housed the powerful demon fox within them. However, Minato continued, describing the events of the previous day. He recounted the attack on his wife during childbirth, the subsequent release of the Kyuubi, and his desperate struggle to save both his wife and the village. In the end, it was the third Hokage who sacrificed his life to seal the Kyuubi within Minato's newborn daughters, Akari and Naruko. The villagers reacted with a mix of disbelief, gratitude, and fear. They couldn't fathom the fact that the esteemed third Hokage had perished, sacrificing himself for the village's safety. At the same time, they grappled with the presence of such a formidable demon within their community. Yet, they had faith in Minato and the third Hokage's sealing abilities, as both were renowned for their expertise in the field. They took solace in the fact that the Kyuubi hadn't managed to escape in the first place and trusted that the seals would hold firm. Minato was relieved to see the village accepting the truth, knowing that secrecy would have only bred skepticism. However, he withheld one crucial piece of information: the prophecy regarding his daughters. He didn't want the prophecy to spread and risk his daughters becoming targets for other villages. Meanwhile, Kushina, now awake and surrounded by her children Naruto, Akari, and Naruko in the hospital room, sensed that something was amiss. She felt a newfound solitude, a void that she couldn't explain. Concerned, she questioned Minato about what had transpired after she lost consciousness during the attack. Minato shared the harrowing details of the attack, how the Kyuubi had been unleashed by the masked man, and the third Hokage's selfless act to divide and seal the Kyuubi's chakra within their daughters. He explained that the third had used a forbidden technique to separate the Kyuubi's yin and yang halves and sealed them within both girls. Kushina's anger welled up, partly directed at Minato for using their daughters in such a way, causing them to suffer a fate similar to hers. However, Minato gently reassured her that her own survival had been uncertain, and the third Hokage had given his life to ensure the village's safety. Still struggling with her emotions, Kushina found it difficult to fully accept Minato's reasoning. However, he sensed her turmoil and decided to reveal another crucial piece of information. He shared with her the prophecy that the great Toad Sage had foretold an ancient power held by the children of the Leaf Village leaders would have the potential to either save or destroy the world. Minato explained that he believed their daughters, Akari and Naruko, were the ones mentioned in the prophecy, as descendants of the Uzumaki clan, carriers of the Kyuubi's chakra. They possessed an ancient power that could shape the future. Naruto, their son, also played a significant role, but for now, their daughters needed more attention due to their connection with the Kyuubi. Overwhelmed by this revelation, Kushina questioned the potential consequences. She worried about the possibility of their daughters straying from the path of righteousness and becoming a force they had always feared. But Minato reassured her, promising that they would provide unconditional love and support. They would train their daughters when they turned 5, and both Jiraiya and Tsunade would lend their guidance and expertise. Kushina gradually began to grasp the importance of their daughter's role and the responsibility they carried. She agreed to support Minato and assist in training their daughters when the time came. As a former Jinchuriki of the Kyuubi, she understood the struggles and challenges they would face. Their conversation shifted to Naruto, their beloved son, who hadn't been mentioned in the prophecy. Minato assured Kushina that Naruto would be fine and that they would ensure he received the necessary attention and protection. When the girls became genin, he proposed that Kushina focus on training and safeguarding Naruto while he concentrated on their daughter's development. Although still grappling with a mix of emotions, Kushina saw the wisdom in Minato's plan. She knew that their daughters needed guidance and control over the Kyuubi's chakra from an early age. With her experience as a former Jinchuriki, she would play a vital role in their training. Author note: I rewrite this chapter because I feel like there's so many mistakes and I want to fix that. You are free to point out any mistakes you find. Don't afraid to be rude and hurting my feeling. If I know my mistake, then I can fix them. Conflicted clan heir disclaimer. I do not own Naruto and any other character in this story. Chapter 5. Conflicted clan heir, rewrite. Kaguya Otsutsuki found herself immersed in the monotony of her prison, unable to engage in any activities. The boredom weighed heavily on her as she observed the reincarnations of her sons, who were still infants and had yet to fulfill their destinies. While she didn't mind simply watching over them, the lack of excitement left her restless. Time passed, and Kaguya's attention focused on her older son's reincarnation. To her surprise, there were not one, but two individuals bearing his resemblance. However, unlike the division of the chakra tree into yin and yang, these two were not separated in such a manner. They mirrored her older son more closely than anyone else, yet there was an intriguing difference she couldn't quite comprehend. As 17 days flew by since her awakening, an unexpected event occurred. Kaguya could now sense her younger son's chakra. Strangely enough, it emanated from the same village where her older son's chakra originated. Konoha, as the humans called it. This revelation puzzled her. The fact that both of her son's chakra resided in the same place couldn't be a mere coincidence. Someone must have orchestrated this convergence, but Kaguya was unaware of the true motive behind it. She focused her attention on the group of people who possessed her younger son's chakra rather than her older son's. She had always been perplexed by the existence of individuals bearing her younger son's chakra. After all, she had witnessed her older son kill his younger brother before her very eyes. So why were there now individuals carrying his chakra? The fact that she could sense her older son's chakra within the two boys but couldn't detect her younger son's presence didn't trouble her. She had believed him to be long dead. However, now sensing her younger son's potent chakra, she yearned to discover who wielded such power. On the 27th of December, 17 days after the Kyuubi attack, Hitomi Hyuga experienced pure bliss. Holding her newborn daughter in her arms, she named her Hinata, signifying a sunny place. Hitomi hoped that her daughter's arrival would breathe life into their currently desolate clan. The Hyuga clan, once vibrant, now seemed devoid of human emotions. They regarded any display of feelings as weakness. Hitomi desired to bring about change within the clan, and she believed her newborn daughter, the future clan leader, had the potential to achieve that. Hishi Hyuga, the current clan head and Hinata's father, entered the room. Upon seeing that his wife had given birth to a girl, his expression soured. Disappointment clouded his face. How could a girl lead the clan? He showed no trace of happiness, mimicking the emotionless demeanor of the rest of the clan. Don't judge her based on her gender alone. Girls can grow to be just as strong as boys. Hinata will become the strongest Hyuga. I believe in her, Hitomi retorted. Unlike the emotionless members of the clan, having not been born and raised within the clan, she stood out, retaining her capacity for emotions. She had met a different Hishi, a kind man who always smiled before he assumed the role of clan head. Hiyoshi's brother, Higashi, excelled in everything. He was the perfect candidate to become the next clan head. However, due to a mere few minutes of birth timing, Higashi was relegated to the branch family, while Hishi ascended as clan head. Their brotherly love evaporated, as Higashi blamed Hishi for being born first, which led to his demotion. Now, Hishi and his son bore the burden of the branch family seal, sealed by their fates. After that event, Hishi underwent a drastic transformation. His smiles vanished, replaced by the stern demeanor of a clan head dedicated to upholding tradition and the clan's best interests. I will begin training her as soon as she can walk. I need to see if she possesses the potential to become the next clan head, Hishi declared. Hitomi's disappointment grew. She had hoped that becoming a father would soften Hiyoshi's heart and bring back his smiles, but he remained resolute, focused solely on training his daughter to become an emotionless leader like himself. Hitomi refused to let that happen. She was determined to ensure her daughter's upbringing was different. You can't do that, and deep down, you know it. At least wait until she turns 5. Hitomi implored. Hishi took a moment to consider her words, his expression softening slightly. All right, he finally acquiesced. I will wait until she turns 5, and then I will personally train her. Although Hitomi didn't want her daughter to be forced into anything, she recognized that now was not the time to press the matter further. For the next 5 years, she would dedicate herself to Hinata, showering her with love and affection. Hitomi knew that nurturing her daughter's spirit was crucial. She would teach Hinata about the beauty of emotions, the strength in compassion, and the power of understanding. She would encourage Hinata to embrace her own uniqueness, her own strengths, and challenge the restrictive traditions of the clan. Author note: I rewrite this chapter because I feel like there's so many mistakes and I want to fix that. You are free to point out any mistakes you find. Don't afraid to be rude and hurting my feeling. If I know my mistake, then I can fix them. Chapter 6 Growing Bond Disclaimer. I do not own Naruto and any other character in this story. Chapter 6 Growing Bond. Naruto and Hinata, rewrite. Kaguya observed her children with both curiosity and concern. 5 years had passed since she awakened, and during that time, she diligently kept an eye on the children who possessed her son's chakra. While nothing particularly interesting had occurred, she remained vigilant. The eldest child, Sasuke, belonging to the Uchiha clan, exhibited remarkable similarities to her older son. The clan's distinctive eyes reminded her of the eyes her son possessed before the tragic events with his brother. Kaguya couldn't help but hold a biased opinion of the Uchiha clan, perceiving them as power-hungry individuals. However, there was one exception within their ranks: Uchiha Itachi, Sasuke's older brother. Despite Itachi's young age, he had already achieved the prestigious rank of Anbu, surpassing many others. Kaguya couldn't help but admire Itachi's selflessness and lack of ego. He harbored no arrogance, despite his remarkable accomplishments. Itachi's primary motivation was to protect his younger brother and their family, showing immense love for both. Unfortunately, Sasuke's relationship with his father was strained due to the latter's power-hungry nature, which Sasuke resented. Naruto, The other half of her older son's chakra had a relatively happier life. His parents, especially his father, showered him with love. Though Naruto's mother had been an active jonin, she decided to temporarily put her career on hold to care for their children. Naruto, as the eldest son, eagerly anticipated his training, hoping to become strong and protect his family. However, he was disheartened when he learned that only his sisters would commence their training, as the Uzumaki clan considered chakra chains exclusive to girls. Despite his initial disappointment, Naruto accepted the decision, looking forward to training alongside his parents in the future. Among the three children, Hinata's life was the most difficult. Her father, Hishi, shared traits with the power-hungry Uchiha clan head. Hiishi's actions had caused Hinata to suffer, particularly after an incident involving a failed kidnapping attempt when she was just 3 years old. The ensuing events led to strained relations between the village and the raikage of Kumogakure. Neji, Hinata's cousin, blamed her for their father's sacrifice, further complicating her life. Moreover, Hinata's mother, who had been the only one to show her love, tragically passed away while giving birth to her younger sister, Hanabi. Hishi, disappointed that another daughter had been born, pushed Hinata away and forbade her from interacting with Hanabi, hoping to mold her younger daughter into a stronger individual. This treatment left Hinata feeling weak and unable to win battles against younger opponents. Despite these hardships, Naruto and Hinata found solace in each other's company. They had become friends after meeting at Naruto's 5th birthday party, where most children were drawn to his sisters due to their upcoming training. Hinata, being kind-hearted, noticed Naruto's loneliness and decided to check on him. Their friendship blossomed as they spent time together, with Hinata providing Naruto the care and attention he craved. Under a moonlit sky, they often sat together in the park, sharing moments of tranquility. Naruto admired the beauty of the moon, and Hinata agreed, her lavender eyes reflecting a genuine fondness for nature. On one such occasion, Naruto realized he hadn't asked for her name before and introduced himself as Naruto Namikaze. Hinata softly replied, revealing her own name, Hinata Hyuga, which Naruto found to be as beautiful as she was. Their friendship continued to grow, with Hinata gradually overcoming her shyness when she was with Naruto. He provided her with a safe space where she could express herself without fear of judgment. Naruto's unwavering support and belief in her gradually boosted Hinata's self-confidence, allowing her to break free from her timid shell. As their bond deepened, Naruto discovered more about Hinata's likes and dislikes. He learned that she had a fondness for zenzai and cinnamon rolls, while crabs and shrimp were not to her taste. Though she still struggled to speak up in front of others, Hinata found solace in Naruto's company, where she felt comfortable being herself. Their friendship became a source of strength for both of them. Naruto, who had often felt overlooked and alone, now had a true friend who saw him for who he was. Hinata, on the other hand, found the courage to confront her insecurities and gradually developed a voice of her own. Naruto's encouragement and belief in her abilities played a significant role in this transformation. Their time together became an escape from the pressures and expectations placed on them by their respective clans. Naruto would listen intently as Hinata shared her hopes, dreams, and even her deepest fears. In return, Naruto shared stories of his adventures and dreams of becoming a powerful ninja who would protect everyone he cared about. Their friendship inspired them to strive for greatness, each supporting the other's aspirations. Naruto motivated Hinata to believe in herself and her abilities, reminding her that she had the strength within her to overcome any obstacle. Hinata, in turn, admired Naruto's determination and unwavering spirit, vowing to always be there for him and offer her support. Author note: I rewrite this chapter because I feel like there's so many mistakes and I want to fix that. You are free to point out any mistakes you find. Don't afraid to be rude and hurting my feeling. If I know my mistake, then I can fix them. Fragments of Hope. Disclaimer: I do not own Naruto and any other character in this story. Chapter 7. Fragment of Hope. Rewrite. As usual, Kaguya sat quietly, her eyes observing her surroundings. She could feel a subtle surge in her chakra, gradually returning to its former strength. Though considered cage level by today's shinobi standards, Kaguya knew deep down that her current chakra reserves were nothing more than a mere drop in the vast ocean. She needed millions of times more chakra if she ever wanted to break free from her confinements. Meanwhile, her children, now 7 years old, played nearby. The first 5 years of their lives had been filled with love and care, shielded from the harsh realities of the world. However, the past 2 years had brought about a drastic change. It seemed as though misfortune had taken a liking to Kaguya and her children. Naruto, despite having a relatively easier time compared to his siblings, still faced his own struggles. Initially, his parents had promised to train him, but the anticipated, later, never seemed to arrive. Naruto had patiently waited for 2 long years, his heart yearning for the guidance he had been promised. However, his parents were reluctant, fearing that his sisters would fall behind if they shifted their attention to him. They assured Naruto that they would teach him later, but any attempts he made to train himself were met with harsh scoldings and a forbid dance to train alone again. Naruto, as his sister's training progressed, he found himself spending less and less time with his family. With his father holding the esteemed position of Hokage, he always left the house before Naruto even woke up. His mother and sisters were equally committed to their own early morning training, leaving his breakfast on the table before their departure. But instead of feeling cast aside, Naruto saw their actions as a reflection of their deep dedication to their respective paths. Although Naruto yearned for their love and attention, he understood that their absence in the mornings was not a measure of their affection for him. He knew they were driven by a strong desire to become the best versions of themselves, just as he aspired to do. Rather than harboring resentment, he decided to channel his energy into training tirelessly, determined to join them one day in their pursuits. However, one person remained a steadfast pillar of support in Naruto's life: his dear friend Hinata Hyuga. She had always been there for him, caring deeply and showing unwavering loyalty. From the moment they met, their friendship had blossomed, becoming an unbreakable bond that provided solace and strength during Naruto's moments of doubt. Ever since his 5th birthday party, when the other children believed that Akari and Naruto would only associate with Naruto, Naruto had noticed a subtle shift in how people perceived him. While some villagers may have misunderstood his family dynamics, he chose not to dwell on their misconceptions. Instead, he focused on his own growth and development, knowing that his worth was not defined by others' opinions. Sasuke, on the other hand, seemed to have led a relatively privileged life. He received an abundance of love from his mother and brother, despite his father's lack of acknowledgement. Sasuke's journey was marked by relentless determination, his every effort aimed at gaining his father's recognition. Itachi, his older brother, respected Sasuke's unwavering dedication and harbored hope that one day, the Uchiha patriarch would come to realize the true worth of his son's accomplishments. Recently, Sasuke had taken his first steps into Konoha Academy, hoping to learn and grow as a shinobi. Little did he know that his return home that night would forever change his life. As he approached his house under the moonlit sky, an eerie silence enveloped the air, and a sense of unease gripped his heart. With trepidation, he entered the familiar surroundings, only to be confronted by a horrifying sight that he wished was nothing more than a dreadful nightmare. The lifeless bodies of his beloved clan members lay before him, a stark reminder of the brutal reality he now faced. Shocked and overwhelmed, Sasuke found himself frozen in disbelief, unable to comprehend the extent of the tragedy that had befallen his family. A surge of emotions surged through his mind, and a singular thought consumed his being: he had to find answers. With newfound determination, he mustered the strength to break free from the paralyzing grip of shock. His feet carried him swiftly through the darkness, propelled by an urgent need to seek the truth within the depths of his home. But as Sasuke entered his parents' chamber, his worst fears were confirmed. The lifeless forms of his mother and father lay before him, their presence a haunting reminder of the immense loss he had suffered. Overwhelmed by grief, his thoughts became a jumbled mess, unable to process the enormity of the situation. In that moment of despair, his brother emerged from the shadows, silently stepping forward. Sasuke's heart skipped a beat as he looked upon Itachi, his sibling whom he had admired and adored his entire life. A mix of relief and confusion washed over him, grateful to see his brother alive but bewildered by the blood-stained katana in Itachi's hand. The words that escaped Itachi's lips shattered Sasuke's fragile hope, as he revealed the unthinkable truth. Itachi confessed to orchestrating the massacre of their clan, driven by a quest for power. Sasuke's world crumbled, torn between the memories of their loving family and the undeniable evidence before him. It was a truth he didn't want to accept, a reality too painful to bear. But Itachi wasn't finished. Engaging Sasuke in a paralyzing genjutsu, he forced his younger brother to relive the heart-wrenching deaths of their parents repeatedly. Each iteration tore at Sasuke's soul, breaking him down further with every passing moment. Exhausted and emotionally shattered, he succumbed to unconsciousness, his mind seeking solace in the oblivion of sleep. Days blurred together as Sasuke lay in a state of profound vulnerability. His body slowly awakened, but his spirit remained fractured. The weight of betrayal, loss, and confusion pressed upon him, threatening to suffocate his resolve. Yet, through the pain, one thing became clear: he had to find his own path, a path that would lead him to the strength needed to confront his brother and avenge his fallen loved ones. Hinata Hyuga's life had been marred by unimaginable hardship since the untimely death of her mother. The void left by her absence was palpable, and it seemed as if the world around Hinata crumbled into a living nightmare. The pain she endured was not limited to emotional torment, as her father's actions only exacerbated her suffering. Deprived of the comfort of her younger sister's company, Hinata was thrust into a relentless training regimen by her father, Hishi. At a tender age of 6 or 7, she was forced to spar with Genin and even Chunin-level ninja. The lack of consequences for those who accidentally harmed her resulted in countless injuries, both physical and emotional. Hinata's spirit remained unbroken, but her heart bore the weight of each wound inflicted upon her fragile form. In the midst of this suffocating environment, her time spent with Naruto, her unwavering friend, was reduced to a mere once a week. The respite he provided from her tumultuous existence became a fleeting oasis of solace. Still, Hinata clung to the belief that their bond would endure, knowing that Naruto valued her friendship as much as she treasured his. However, a recent discovery shattered what little remained of her fragile heart. The truth emerged, revealing that her mother's passing was not a result of childbirth complications, as she had been led to believe. The elders had disapproved of her mother's outsider status, viewing her as an unwanted addition to the clan. It was their insidious influence that convinced Hishi to believe that Hinata's perceived weakness stemmed from her mother's presence. In their cunning manipulation, they poisoned her mother soon after giving birth to Hanabi. But as Hinata's fury grew, so did her awareness of her own limitations. Her anger was eclipsed by a deep sense of powerlessness. She yearned to take action, to right the wrongs that had been inflicted upon her, but she felt bound by her perceived weakness. Doubt clouded her mind, casting shadows over her self-belief. To her dismay, her father's decision to seal her with the caged bird seal on her 7th birthday only reinforced the notion of her captivity. The mark served as a constant reminder of her perceived inadequacy and the restraints placed upon her potential. Yet, deep within her, a flicker of determination persisted, refusing to be extinguished. In the midst of her despair, she found herself standing at the base of the mountain, gazing up at the stern faces of the Hokage statues. The weight of her troubles felt overwhelming. Naruto was consumed by worry. His thoughts revolved around his only friend, and the past 2 years they had spent together had taught him one thing for certain: her clan was filled with jerks. Lately, however, their meetings had become increasingly infrequent. Instead of their usual regular get-togethers, they could only manage to meet once a week. Each time they met, she seemed burdened, as if she had endured a great deal. Despite his curiosity, she never opened up about what troubled her, instead brushing it off as part of her training. Naruto couldn't help but wonder, who trains like that? He knew his own sisters trained under their parents, who were tough on them, but they never exhibited the same physical toll that he had noticed on his friend. Yet, for the time being, Naruto chose to disregard his suspicions. However, the situation took a turn for the worse when his friend stopped coming to meet him altogether. 2 long weeks had passed without a word from her, and his concern grew deeper. Attempting to check on her, Naruto approached her clan's compound, only to be stopped at the gates. They refused to let him in and offered no reassurances about her well-being. Fear began to gnaw at Naruto's heart. Was something terrible happening to her? Did she no longer want to be friends? A torrent of questions flooded his mind, each one intensifying his anxiety. He was aimlessly wandering through the village, an air of unease settling deep within him. An inexplicable sense of impending doom gnawed at his mind, leaving him restless and on edge. Observing the unfolding events with intense fry, Kaguya seethed with anger. The mere thought of anyone causing harm to her precious children ignited a fierce desire within her, one that urged her to take violent action. Yet, she understood the constraints that held her back. Hopelessly, she watched, unable to intervene directly. Among her beloved offspring, a tender 7-year-old was on the verge of succumbing to despair, contemplating the unimaginable act of ending her own life. The weight of the situation bore heavily upon Kaguya's heart. How could they have pushed her child to such depths of desolation at such a tender age? If it weren't for the confines of her prison, Kaguya felt an instinctive urge to eliminate those responsible for her children's suffering. But she knew the boundaries that restrained her. Powerless in her current state, she found herself confronted with a difficult decision, one she had not anticipated making. In a burst of determination, Kaguya resolved to utilize every remaining fragment of chakra within her to save her child. The reasons for her desperate need to protect her offspring eluded even her. Though the chakra within her children was tied to her own, she understood that they were distinct individuals. Still, an unyielding maternal instinct compelled her to shield them at any cost. And so, with fierce resolve in her eyes, Kaguya embarked on an unexpected path. She would summon forth every ounce of her dwindling chakra, harnessing its formidable energy to rescue her child from the clutches of despair. In the face of daunting odds and her own limitations, Kaguya would give her all to ensure the safety and well-being of her precious offspring. If she used her remaining chakra, the consequences were uncertain to her. Perhaps she would be plunged into another timeless slumber, spanning hundreds of years. Alternatively, she might meet her end, but she no longer cared about her own fate. Her sole focus was on saving her child. With whatever chakra she had left, she forged a profound connection between herself and Naruto. He seemed to be the best option for her salvation, possessing a similar chakra to her own. Meanwhile, Naruto found himself consumed by sorrow over Hinata. He longed to see her again, but had no idea how to make it happen. Suddenly, an unusual sensation washed over him, a presence attempting to invade his mind. Although the Yamanaka clan was known for such abilities, Naruto doubted it was their doing. Before he could comprehend the situation, he lost consciousness. When he awakened, Naruto found himself surrounded by an endless expanse of darkness. Fear gripped his heart as confusion enveloped his thoughts. How had he ended up in this unfamiliar place? A sense of foreboding grew within him. But then, through the inky abyss, he caught sight of her. There before him stood a breathtaking woman with ethereal white skin and hair. 2 delicate horns adorned her head, and her eyes captivated him. They resembled Hinata's, but her third eye remained closed, concealing its secrets. Naruto could find no words to describe her beauty. She was simply radiant. "I finally get a chance to meet you, my child. I am so happy," she said with a warm smile. Naruto looked at her with curiosity. "Who are you? Where are we? Do I know you?" he asked, feeling a mix of confusion and excitement. "It's nice to talk with you, but I'm afraid we don't have much time left. My other child, you know her as Hinata, your friend, is in danger. You have to go where those faces are carved in the mountains. She was about to do something terrible. I want you to go there as soon as possible," she explained with urgency. Naruto's worry grew immensely, realizing the gravity of the situation. He asked her how he could leave this place and make his way to Hokage Mountain. Without hesitation, she gently woke him up from his dream, and Naruto bolted towards his destination, fueled by determination. After what felt like an eternity, Naruto finally arrived at Hokage Mountain. His heart pounded as he saw Hinata standing on the edge, tears streaming down her face. He knew he had to act quickly. With a mix of horror and love, he rushed towards her, embracing her tightly from behind, preventing her from taking that fatal leap. Hinata, startled by the sudden contact, activated her Byakugan, and her gaze met Naruto's. A wave of relief washed over her as she recognized him. For a moment, she forgot about everything else and simply reveled in the comfort of his embrace. But soon, a wave of self-doubt crashed over Hinata, filling her with worry about how Naruto would perceive her now. She felt weak and helpless, unable to do anything to prevent her own despair. Tears poured from her eyes even more, her self-esteem shattering before her. "What are you thinking? You were about to jump. Did you even consider how I would feel if you left like that?" Naruto's voice thundered, laced with anger and concern. I was. Hinata struggled to find her words, her voice choked with tears. Before she could finish, Naruto pulled her into another tight embrace, silencing her worries. In that moment, Hinata forgot about her fears and insecurities, and instead, she soaked in the warmth of her friend and secret crush's embrace. It was a powerful reminder that she was not alone and that Naruto cared deeply for her. Naruto gently whispered into her ear, his voice filled with a mixture of emotions. "Hinata, I could never hate you. Your life is precious to me, and I can't bear the thought of losing you. Please, let me be there for you. You're strong, and together, we can face anything that comes our way." Hinata's heart swelled with hope as his words sank in. The darkness that had consumed her began to fade, replaced by a glimmer of light. She clung to Naruto, finding solace in his unwavering support. Author note: I rewrite this chapter because I feel like there's so many mistakes and I want to fix that. You are free to point out any mistakes you find. Don't afraid to be rude and hurting my feeling. If I know my mistake, then I can fix them. Whispers of Warmth. Disclaimer: I do not own Naruto and any other character in this story. Chapter 8. Whispers of Warmth. Rewrite. Soon, Hinata and Naruto found themselves in a black void, their surroundings eerily familiar to Naruto. Hinata, although surprised, trusted Naruto's calm demeanor in this strange place. Suddenly, Kaguya emerged before them, her presence invoking a mix of fear and recognition. Hinata's thoughts mirrored Naruto's. Initial encounter with Kaguya. Kaguya swiftly embraced them, and in that moment, an inexplicable warmth enveloped both Naruto and Hinata. As if they were embracing a long-lost loved one, they felt an overwhelming sense of safety. "I am overjoyed to see both of you," Kaguya expressed, her voice evoking familiarity. Naruto and Hinata could sense that they knew her somehow. "Ah, I see you're wondering who I am. Correct?" They both nodded, their curiosity piqued. "I would love to share my story with you, but time is short for me. If you hold my hands, I can show you everything," Kaguya offered, her gaze filled with a deep longing. Trusting someone they had just met was a risky decision for any ninja, but Naruto and Hinata sensed a genuine connection to Kaguya. Naruto took the first step, extending his hand, and Hinata, overcome with trust, followed suit. Memories flooded their minds, unveiling Kaguya's journey of love, betrayal, and devotion to her children. Witnessing her resilience and unconditional love brought tears to Naruto and Hinata's eyes. Despite enduring her own son's betrayal, Kaguya continued to watch over them, longing for her own happiness. Realizing that her chakra was depleting, Kaguya knew her time was limited. She offered a portion of her chakra to Naruto and Hinata, hoping it would empower them to lead fulfilling lives. Her only regret was not being able to meet her third child, Sasuke, whose name she whispered to them. With her last bit of chakra, she established a profound connection with them, knowing it could lead to her demise. However, she reassured them, urging them to cherish their own lives and cautioning Hyuga not to prematurely use the seal on her forehead. Moved by Kaguya's selflessness, Naruto and Hinata vowed to find a way to free her. Kaguya, touched by their determination, smiled at them one last time before fading away. Returning to Hokage Mountain, Naruto held Hinata tightly, his heart heavy with the weight of their newfound knowledge. Why does everything I hold dear keep getting taken away from me?" Hinata sobbed, her voice choked with anguish. The pain of her losses overwhelmed her, and she found solace in Naruto's comforting embrace. "Hush, Hinata-chan, it'll be okay. I'm here for you, and we'll find a way to see Mother again. I promise," Naruto reassured her, his voice filled with unwavering determination. Feeling lost and homeless, Hinata expressed her concern about her future. Naruto knew he had to provide her with support and a sense of belonging. He brought her to his own house, fully aware that his decision might face opposition from his parents. Entering Naruto's room, Hinata found herself in a modest space adorned with posters of previous Hokages, a testament to Naruto's admiration for them. Among the decorations, she blushed upon seeing a photo of themselves as children, taken on Naruto's birthday. It was a cherished memory, and seeing it displayed in his room filled her with warmth. Naruto suggested that Hinata rest while he prepared food for her. She obliged, feeling the weight of exhaustion settle upon her. Falling asleep almost instantly, she found comfort in Naruto's presence. While Hinata slept, Naruto went out to get some food. Knowing her fondness for cinnamon rolls, he headed to the bakery and purchased a fresh batch for Hinata. He also bought some ramen, knowing it was his own favorite. Carrying the delicious treats, he returned to find Hinata still sleeping peacefully. Deciding to let her rest a little longer, Naruto sat down next to her, flipping through his books. He glanced at her from time to time, a gentle smile gracing his lips. Seeing her serene face brought him a sense of calm amidst the chaos of their recent experiences. As the sun began to set, casting a warm golden glow through the windows, Hinata finally stirred awake. Her eyes met Naruto's and she blushed, feeling a mixture of comfort and happiness in his presence. "I bought some cinnamon rolls for you. Let's eat," Naruto said, his voice filled with genuine care and affection. The mention of her favorite treat brought a genuine smile to Hinata's face. It was the first true smile Naruto had seen from her in weeks. They sat together, savoring the sweet pastries, their laughter and conversation filling the room. For a while, Hinata forgot about the trials and sorrows that had plagued her. Instead, she focused on the warmth and kindness that Naruto exuded. After finishing their meal, they continued talking, sharing stories, and reminiscing about their childhood adventures. The hours slipped by unnoticed as they found solace in each other's company. As the clock neared 9 p.m., the time when Naruto's parents and sisters would return, Naruto knew it was time to face the reality of their situation. He couldn't hide Hinata's presence from his family any longer. Naruto and Hinata walked out of the room hand in hand, their steps filled with a quiet determination. They entered the main hall, where Minato, Kushina, and their sisters had just arrived, engaged in cheerful conversation. The room fell silent as their eyes fell upon Hinata's disheveled appearance. "Naruto, why is Hinata here, and what happened to her?" Kushina asked, concern etched on her face. Naruto took a deep breath and proceeded to share everything, withholding only the part about meeting Kaguya and Hinata's attempted jump from Hokage Mountain. "You know we can't officially adopt her due to the rules. We need to find someone who can provide her with the care she deserves," Minato informed them, his voice laced with a sense of responsibility. The thought of separating from Naruto only heightened Hinata's anxiety, and Naruto noticed her distress. "No, she's staying with us. You're the Hokage, you have the power to change the rules," Naruto asserted, his voice firm and unwavering. His father was taken aback by Naruto's rare display of determination. "Naruto, you're not thinking clearly. I can't abuse my power as Hokage. But we can find someone who will take good care of Hinata," Minato reasoned, hoping Naruto would understand. "I won't leave Hinata-chan like that. If you won't let her live here, then I'll leave the house too. I can't abandon her in a time like this," Naruto declared, his voice resolute. The room fell silent, stunned by Naruto's resolve, including his father. Minato, caught off guard, contemplated the situation. He realized that Naruto's love and concern for Hinata went beyond mere friendship. After a moment, he relented, understanding the depth of their bond. "All right, she can stay here. But I can't officially adopt her, nor can I provide her with a monthly allowance. You need to be prepared for that. And if she chooses to become a ninja, she will have to live on her own once she becomes a genin or until she turns 18. "I won't argue with you any further," Minato stated, his tone softened with a touch of understanding. Naruto nodded, relieved that his father had relented. He turned to Hinata, his eyes filled with warmth. "See, Hinata-chan. You can stay with us," he reassured her, his voice gentle yet full of determination. Naruto and Hinata entered Naruto's room, both looking visibly exhausted after such an eventful day. "You shouldn't have gone to such lengths for me, Naruto-kun," Hinata said softly. Naruto glanced at her with a gentle smile. "You needed my help, Hinata-chan, and I wouldn't leave you alone like that," he replied, his concern evident in his eyes. Feeling grateful, Hinata initially hesitated when Naruto offered her his bed, but he insisted, assuring her it was no trouble. Eventually, she accepted his offer and settled into bed, appreciating his kindness. Naruto, true to his word, took the couch, ensuring that Hinata would be comfortable for the night. Meanwhile, in Minato and Kushina's room, they discussed the recent events and Naruto's uncharacteristic behavior. "What do you think happened to Naruto? He has never acted this way before," Kushina voiced her concern. Minato comforted his wife, offering a possible explanation. "Don't worry, Kushina. I believe Hinata is his friend, and he's just worried about her. That's all. He will come around," he reassured her. Realizing that Naruto might be upset about his training not having started yet, Kushina wondered aloud, "Do you think he's mad because we haven't begun his training? Perhaps we should ask him tomorrow if he wants to train with us," Minato agreed. And with that, they both settled down to sleep, understanding that the day had been challenging for everyone. In Akari and Naruko's room, they were taken aback by their older brother's sudden outburst. What do you think happened to Big Brother? Why was he so angry? I know he was worried about Hinata, but he didn't have to yell at father, Naruto pondered aloud. Akari considered the situation before responding. Maybe he was angry because father and mother hadn't started his training yet. He probably took it out on father. Naruto nodded in agreement, acknowledging Naruto's carefree nature. If only he could be more serious and show father that he's ready, maybe they would start his training. They're just concerned for his safety, after all, she remarked. Satisfied with their conversation, Akari and Naruto drifted off to sleep, hoping that their brother would find a way to prove himself and earn their parents' trust. The story continues with the same plot, but the characters' thoughts and feelings are further emphasized, providing a deeper understanding of their dynamics and concerns. Author note: I rewrite this chapter because I feel like there's so many mistakes and I want to fix that. You are free to point out any mistakes you find. Don't afraid to be rude and hurting my feeling. If I know my mistake, then I can fix them. Unlocking the future disclaimer. I do not own Naruto and any other character in this story. Chapter 9. Unlocking the future. Next day, Hinata moved into the Namikaze mansion. It wasn't a typical move-in, as she didn't have anything with her at all. As always, Naruto's parents and sisters woke up early, but today they didn't leave like they usually do. They waited for Naruto and Hinata to wake up. After some time, both of them woke up and headed towards the main hall to have breakfast. Naruto was surprised to see his parents still there. What happened? Why are you all still here? He asked in surprise. Kushina replied, we were hoping you could come with us to train today. We can help you with unlocking your chakra. She hoped that Naruto would be happy to hear that since he had always wanted to train with them. However, to their surprise, Naruto didn't look happy. He paused for a moment, thinking, I'm sorry, but I can't come with you today. Hinata-chan and I have some important things to take care of, Naruto calmly replied. His answer made Naruto really angry. Why did you decline the option to train with us? You always say that you wanted to. But now that father is giving you a chance, you're declining it. What could be more important than training with us? She asked, clearly angry. Naruto responded calmly. Firstly, Hinata-chan needs some clothes that fit her properly. Both of your clothes are a bit big for her. Secondly, there are other essentials she needs if she's going to stay here, like a toothbrush and other personal items. Lastly, I want to spend more time with her. It's been almost 2 weeks since I last saw her, and there's a lot that we need to catch up on. Naruto spoke with a sense of enjoyment. Naruto was even more frustrated, but she didn't say anything. Akari asked calmly, so that means you'll come tomorrow, then? Naruto replied, no, I won't. You two already know the basics and are learning more advanced stuff. I would only slow you down. I'll wait until the academy starts in a few days. They will teach us the basics, and then father can teach us advanced techniques as well. Kushina had a look of disbelief. She tried to figure out if Naruto genuinely wanted to learn the basics from the academy first or if he was simply avoiding spending time with the family. I mean, he always wanted to train with us, so why would he decline like that? He must feel that he will learn the basics first, so we don't have to teach them separately. Yeah, that's it, Kushina thought to herself. Okay then, we're heading out, Kushina said. Dinner is already ready, so make sure to eat it. With that, all four of them left the mansion, leaving Naruto and Hinata behind. Thank you, Naruto-kun. You're doing all of this for me, and I can't repay you, Hinata thanked him. What are you talking about? We're friends, and that's what friends do, right? Naruto replied. Hinata nodded, and the two of them left the house. As Naruto had mentioned earlier, they went to the market to buy things that Hinata would need. This time, instead of a baggy lavender jacket, Hinata chose a purple dress that Naruto had picked out for her. It was perfect for a ninja, allowing freedom of movement. Naruto insisted on buying 2 sets of the dress, despite Hinata's protests that one would be enough. He mentioned that she looked even more beautiful in the dress and having a backup would be useful in case one got damaged. Who knew if they would find a dress as beautiful as this again? Although Hinata didn't want Naruto to spend more money than necessary, he reassured her that his pocket money was mostly spent on ramen, so he had enough to spare for other things. Hinata insisted that he should buy something for himself too. They came across a black shirt with orange lining, which both Naruto and Hinata liked. Naruto's fondness for orange and Hinata's agreement made it an ideal choice. Naruto decided to buy 2 sets of clothes as well, matching the 2 sets of dresses they had purchased earlier. With all their necessary items now acquired, Hinata tried to keep the list as small as possible, not wanting Naruto to spend too much on their preparations. As the afternoon approached, they found themselves at Ichiraku, the village's renowned ramen stall. Naruto wanted Hinata to experience the exquisite taste of Ichiraku's ramen too. They both placed their orders, eagerly anticipating the delicious meal. Hinata discovered that she enjoyed ramen, though not quite as much as Naruto did. It ranked second on her list of favorite foods, right after cinnamon rolls. She understood why Naruto always spoke highly of Ichiraku and why it held a special place in his heart. After their satisfying meal, instead of heading straight home, Naruto and Hinata decided to visit an empty training ground nearby. Hinata couldn't help but express her concerns. "Are you sure you want to train with me instead of your family? They might be able to teach you better than I can." Naruto shook his head and replied with determination, "No, I don't want to train with them anymore. They've always made promises to train me, but they never followed through. Now suddenly, they show interest in my training. I don't like that. They claim to be working on my sister's chakra chains, but I suspect they are working on something else or my sisters haven't grasped the technique yet. The latter is highly unlikely." Realizing Naruto's disappointment, Hinata offered her help. "Well, I can assist you with that. There are actually 2 methods. The first is the natural method, where you meditate and engage in light chakra exercises to open your chakra pathways. The second method is more forceful, where someone with already opened chakra can forcefully send bursts of chakra into your pathways to unlock them." Naruto expressed his preference. "I already have an idea which method you used to unlock your chakra. I want to try the second method as well." Hinata grew concerned and cautioned him, "But Naruto-kun, the second method is quite painful, and it carries risks. You could even get seriously hurt or worse. I don't want you to go through that." Hinata's eyes began to well up with tears, but she nodded in agreement. However, determination filled her as she activated her Byakugan. Her hands started glowing with chakra, not using the gentle fist style but simply emitting her normal chakra. Her training with the Hyuga clan allowed her to control her chakra effortlessly, and now she felt its strength. With a strike to Naruto's belly, she released a burst of chakra, causing him to cry out in pain. It was an agonizing experience for him. After a while, Naruto managed to regain control over the pain. "Oh man, that's the most intense pain I've ever experienced in my life. I never want to go through that again," Naruto exclaimed, still smiling at Hinata. Hinata worriedly asked, "I'm sorry, does it hurt even more?" Naruto reassured her, "No, I'm fine. Don't worry, I was the one who asked you to do it anyway." Hinata activated her Byakugan to examine Naruto's chakra pathways. "Naruto-kun, your chakra paths are open now," Hinata confirmed as she observed his chakra pathways with her Byakugan. "I can see that you already possess Chunin-level chakra. And after my encounter with Mother, my chakra has also increased to a Genin level." Hinata couldn't help but feel a sense of pride and joy in their progress. Naruto's face lit up with excitement. "That means I have a lot of chakra, and I can learn and perform even more jutsu. I'm going to become stronger and release Mother from her prison," Naruto declared with determination. Hinata couldn't help but smile at his unwavering resolve. She, too, yearned to meet their mother once again. She had been watching over them since their birth, acting as a guiding presence. When Hinata found herself in desperate need, their mother sent Naruto to help her, even though it meant sacrificing her remaining chakra and entering another deep sleep, or worse, risking her life. While she may not be their biological mother, Hinata loved her just as much as she loved her real mother. The next day marked the start of the academy, where children typically enrolled at the age of 7. However, Naruto, Hinata, and other children from renowned clans who already possessed basic knowledge of chakra were granted permission to skip a year and enroll at the age of 8. With a month of free time before the academy started, Naruto and Hinata decided to dedicate it to uncovering more about their mother. They were convinced that there had to be some mention of her in the village's shinobi history. They delved into ancient books and scrolls, searching for any clues that could shed light on their mother's past. As they explored, They stumbled upon a book that spoke of the Sage of Six Paths, a legendary figure in shinobi folklore. While the authenticity of the stories was debated, Naruto and Hinata sensed a connection. According to the book, a woman had consumed a mystical fruit and gained chakra. She eventually gave birth to two sons who also inherited her chakra. However, an immense evil, known as the Ten Tails, took control of their mother. In order to save the world, the older brother trained with a toad sage and became a sage himself. Recognizing the potency of sage chakra against their mother, the brothers fought alongside the toad sage and managed to seal their mother within the moon. The younger brother, filled with love for his mother, departed to the moon and spent the rest of his life there. The older brother, having sealed the Ten Tails chakra within himself, roamed the world, bestowing chakra upon others. As his life neared its end, he divided the Ten Tails chakra into 9 separate entities, each possessing its own consciousness. Thus, he became known as the Sage of Six Paths. While some dismissed the tale as mere mythology, Naruto and Hinata felt an undeniable connection to the story. It resonated with the memories they had of their mother. They now knew the location of her seal, but they felt powerless to release her. They were still too weak, lacking the knowledge of how to approach the task. They pondered the possibility of seeking assistance from the Senju and Uchiha clans, as the books mentioned them as descendants of the Sage of Six Paths. However, they faced obstacles in their path. The Senju clan had already been destroyed before their birth, and recently, Uchiha Itachi had eliminated all Uchiha members except for Sasuke. They wondered if Sasuke, with his similar chakra to Naruto's, they doubted whether he would ever change his vengeful mindset. His thoughts were consumed by revenge, leaving little room for anything else. The others anticipated his rejection when they approached him for a different path. In the meantime, they focused on their own growth and strength. Training became their refuge and sanctuary, a way to prepare themselves for the challenges ahead. The approaching academy, scheduled to start next month, loomed as an opportunity for them to refine their skills and unite as a formidable force. Author's note: initially, I had planned to take a break from writing for a while. However, thanks to Wolf of Anarchy, one of the readers of this fanfiction, I was encouraged to utilize Al and other Chat GPTs to enhance my writing skills. I will do my best to minimize mistakes, but if you come across any, please feel free to point them out to me. Training progress disclaimer. I do not own Naruto and any other character show in this story. Chapter 10. Training progress. It had been 5 years since Hinata and Naruto encountered Kaguya. During this time, they both dedicated themselves to training in secret, pushing each other to become stronger. Naruto's parents continually urged him to train with them, but he always declined, much to Naruto's frustration. However, little did they know that Naruto had a secret desire to train with Hinata. Together, they wanted to surprise their enemies with their newfound abilities. Over the past 5 years, Naruto and Hinata focused on physical training and honing their chakra control. They deliberately refrained from learning powerful jutsu as they understood the strain it could put on their bodies. Nevertheless, they did acquire knowledge of some low-level jutsu during their training. Hinata had developed her unique taijutsu style to enhance her juken abilities. In addition, she delved into the study of sealing jutsu and the use of senbon. Although she had yet to incorporate poison into her senbon techniques, she was diligently learning the skill. Naruto, on the other hand, devoted himself to mastering the flying swallow taijutsu style, which was a B-rank, short-range offensive technique. He also learned how to wield a sword and carried one in a storage seal crafted by Hinata. He was thrilled that Hinata had taken an interest in fuinjutsu, as it would undoubtedly prove advantageous in their missions. Alongside these accomplishments, Naruto also became proficient in minor jutsu, including the 3 academy jutsu. In the academy, both Naruto and Akari were widely recognized for their exceptional abilities. Naruto's hyperactive nature often led her to challenge Sasuke to battles, but he consistently refused, knowing that she was a formidable opponent. With her unparalleled taijutsu skills, she could even hold her own against some Jonin-level shinobi. Sasuke hesitated to face her, fearing the embarrassment of being defeated. Akari, in contrast, possessed a calm and strategic approach to her training. She excelled in ninjutsu and had already mastered high-level water techniques that surpassed those of some Jonin in the village. Both sisters, like their mother Kushina, carried the power of the Kyuubi within them, and their parents, as well as Jiraiya and Tsunade, had been training them rigorously since the age of 5. They were undoubtedly strong. As for Naruto, he intentionally maintained his position as the dead last in the academy. He concealed his true abilities, not wishing to draw attention from his family, who had not played a role in his training. When the time came for the academy exams at the age of 13, Naruto, Hinata, Akari, and Naruto felt a sense of anticipation. However, they tempered their expectations, knowing that their first missions might only involve menial tasks. Safety was a concern, and it was crucial for them to have a team they could trust. The exams proceeded as expected. The written test was not overly challenging, and almost all the students passed. Naruto, Kiba, and Shikamaru barely achieved passing grades, with Naruto intentionally downplaying his intelligence. Shikamaru, ever the lethargic strategist, found writing more than necessary to be a troublesome endeavor. The remaining students received average marks, but Akari, Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura achieved perfect scores, thanks to their exceptional abilities. The second test involved shuriken and kunai throwing. Only 5 students failed this test, all of them civilian-born. Naruto, Hinata, Akari, and Naruto showcased their skills, achieving varying degrees of success. Naruto managed to hit 4 out of 10 shurikens and 5 out of 10 kunai, while Hinata scored 5 out of 10 with shurikens and 7 out of 10 with kunai. Akari displayed impressive accuracy, scoring 9 out of 10 with shurikens and 8 out of 10 with kunai. Naruto also performed well, hitting 8 out of 10 with both shurikens and kunai. Sasuke, unsurprisingly, achieved a perfect score, hitting all the targets with both weapons. Shikamaru once again displayed his nonchalant nature, hitting the minimum requirement of 3 kunai and 3 shuriken and deciding not to attempt any further throws. The rest of the students achieved varying degrees of success. The third and final exam tested the students' proficiency in the 3 academy jutsu. 4 more civilian-born students failed this test, while all the others passed. Each student demonstrated the 3 basic jutsu, except for Akari and Naruto, who impressed the examiners by showcasing the shadow clone jutsu instead of the typical clone jutsu. Their creativity earned them extra points in the exam. With the exams concluded, the entire class, except for the 9 civilian-born students, successfully passed. Akari's use of the shadow clone jutsu and her exceptional performance earned her the first rank in the class, while Naruto secured 2nd place and Sasuke came in 3rd. Shikamaru, true to his carefree nature, ended up as the last-ranked student. The following week, the students were eagerly awaiting the assignment of their 3-person teams, accompanied by a Jonin-level teacher. As Naruto, Hinata, Akari, and Naruto made their way home, a sense of accomplishment filled the air. We're officially shinobi now. Soon, we'll be embarking on real missions, Naruto exclaimed with joy. Akari, always the realist, reminded them that they would likely start with menial tasks before progressing to more significant missions. Naruto and Hinata walked silently, content with the progress they had made. Their friendship and dedication to training were paying off. Upon arriving home, they were greeted by their mother, Kushina, who was overjoyed to see her children wearing their headbands. While she had been confident in her daughter's abilities, she had worried about Naruto. Seeing him with a headband alongside Hinata brought her immense relief. She had even made arrangements with Minato to be assigned as their team's Jonin leader to ensure their safety and provide them with her guidance and protection. I'm so happy that all of you passed. Hinata, you did well too, Kushina said, hugging each of them tightly. Naruto eagerly shared the class rankings, but her enthusiasm waned when she mentioned Naruto's second-to-last position. Kushina gently admonished Naruto, urging him to take his training more seriously to avoid getting hurt during missions. Naruto assured his mother that he would keep her words in mind, not wanting to argue with her. Inside their home, Kushina prepared their favorite meal for a celebratory feast. They sat together, enjoying the momentary respite before the challenging life of a shinobi consumed their days. Author's note. First, I would like to thank Toby99 for pointing out the mistake I made in the previous chapter. I will correct it so that other readers who will be reading this story won't face the same difficulty you had. I hope you enjoy this story. And if you find any mistake in story, please point it out. Team selection note. I don't say Naruto and Hinata are weak. I simply mean that they haven't displayed their full power. For those wondering why they would need to conceal their full power or at least be dead last, instead of being in the middle of the class, here's my answer. It's more enjoyable when everyone believes you're the weakest, and then you surprise them by revealing your true strength. Some of you have asked why I had Hinata learn Fuinjutsu instead of Naruto. The answer is simple. This is my story, and I wanted to do something different. In all the Naruto stories I've read so far, Naruto always learns Fuinjutsu. Disclaimer. I don't own Naruto and any other character in this story. Chapter 11. Team Formation. The Shinobi Chronicles. Today was the day when all students who passed the academy exam would be assigned to teams of 4. The atmosphere in the old classroom was filled with anticipation and excitement. Naruto and Hinata sat together in the last row, eagerly awaiting their team assignments. Iruka Amino, their class teacher, entered the room with a stack of papers in his hands, capturing everyone's attention with a loud command for silence. Iruka began his speech, emphasizing the importance of their new life as ninja and wishing them good luck. The students listened intently, their minds buzzing with possibilities. Team assignments were about to be revealed, and the tension was palpable. Naruto and Hinata, however, paid little attention to the other teams, assuming they were just ordinary civilians who wouldn't play a significant role in their lives as shinobi. As Iruka announced the teams one by one, excitement and disappointment filled the room. Team 7 was called, consisting of Akari Namikaze, Naruko Namikaze, and Sasuke Uchiha, with their team leader being the renowned Jonin, Kushina Namikaze. Akari had expected Naruto to be on their team but was pleasantly surprised by the inclusion of Naruto. Sasuke, on the other hand, felt relieved that he wouldn't have to deal with any fangirls on his team and looked forward to training under the skilled leadership of Kushina. Next, it was Team 8's turn to be assigned. Naruto's heart skipped a beat when he heard his name along with Hinata's and Sakura. Haruno's. He couldn't help but feel a pang of annoyance at the thought of Sakura, who had always been a fangirl of Sasuke. However, he found solace in the fact that he would be able to work closely with Hinata. Hinata herself shared similar sentiments, understanding Naruto's concerns about Sakura's attitude. Sakura, on the other hand, couldn't hide her disappointment. She had hoped to be on Sasuke's team and was displeased with the composition of her assigned team. As the team assignments continued, Team 10 was assigned Nara, Shikamaru, Akamichi Choji, and Yamanaka Ino, with Sarutobi Asuma as their team leader. Shikamaru remained unfazed by the predictable outcome. Choji was thrilled to be on the same team as his best friend, and Ino felt a tinge of dissatisfaction for not being able to work alongside Sasuke. Finally, it was time for Team 11's assignment. Inuzuka Kiba and Aburame Shino listened attentively as Iruka announced their names, but confusion arose when they heard the name Yakumo Kurama. Kiba spoke up, seeking clarification about their third teammate, whom they didn't know and wasn't part of their class. Iruka explained that due to a shortage of students for 3-member teams, Yakumo would be joining their team as their sensei's existing student. Accepting this explanation, Kiba and Shino nodded in understanding. After Iruka finished assigning all the teams, he informed them that their Jonin sensei would arrive within an hour. Naruto's team was the last one left in the classroom, eagerly awaiting the arrival of their sensei. However, as the time ticked away, they realized that their sensei was running late. Frustrated by the delay, Sakura expressed her anger, but Hinata, in her usual calm demeanor, informed Sakura that they had expected their sensei to be nearly 3 hours late. Sakura was surprised by this revelation and questioned how they knew. Naruto casually replied that they knew their sensei personally. Determined not to waste any more time, Naruto suggested to his team that they should go and grab something to eat while they waited for their sensei. Hinata wholeheartedly agreed with the idea, knowing that their sensei's tardiness was not out of the ordinary. Sakura, however, protested, insisting that they couldn't leave without meeting their sensei first. Frustrated and feeling left behind, she was resentful that her teammates had abandoned her in the classroom. Naruto, unbothered by Sakura's complaints, reminded her that they had been informed about the delay and that their sensei would eventually arrive. Realizing that her protests were futile, Sakura reluctantly decided to stay in the classroom, simmering in her annoyance. Naruto and Hinata left, making their way towards their favorite ramen shop. Along the way, they encountered Ayame and Tucci, the owners of the ramen shop, who were delighted to hear about Naruto and Hinata being placed on the same team. As a token of celebration, they offered Naruto and Hinata a complimentary bowl of ramen each, which they happily accepted before continuing on their way. Few hours ago, at the Hokage Tower earlier that day, Kushina confronted Minato, her husband and the Hokage, about the team assignments. She reminded him of his promise to assign her with all three of their children, expressing her frustration over Naruto not being placed on her team. Kushina was eager to train Naruto personally, feeling that he needed their guidance and support more than ever. Minato, wanting to defuse the situation, calmly explained his reasoning. He acknowledged Naruto's anger towards them for neglecting his training and his fondness for Hinata. Placing them on different teams would only exacerbate Naruto's feelings of resentment. Minato assured Kushina that he had appointed Kakashi as their team leader, knowing that he would provide excellent guidance. While reluctant, Kushina understood the rationale behind Minato's decision and reluctantly agreed. Returning to the present time, Naruto and Hinata made their way back to the academy after their satisfying lunch. As they entered the classroom, they found Sakura still waiting, her frustration evident on her face. Just as they were settling back into their seats, the classroom door swung open, and their team's Jonin sensei, Kakashi Hitaki, stepped in. His iconic silver hair and masked face created an air of mystery around him. Kakashi apologized for his lateness, explaining that he had been caught up with a mission briefing. "My first impression of you is that you're boring," he said, hoping for Naruto to prank him or do something mischievous. "Meet me on the rooftop in 5 minutes, or else I'll send you back to the academy," he threatened them before disappearing in a swirl of leaves. "Let's go. What are we waiting for?" Naruto said as he and Hinata started walking upstairs. Sakura followed them, and although Naruto and Hinata knew how to perform the Shunshin Jutsu, they refrained from using it. They didn't want to reveal their full skill level just yet. Soon, they all reached the rooftop where Kakashi was patiently waiting. "So, you're not that bad," he remarked, looking towards them. All three students sat in front of him. "Now, let's start with introducing ourselves. Tell me about your likes, dislikes, and dreams for the future," he asked his students. "Why don't you go first, sensei?" Sakura suggested. "Okay then. My name is Kakashi Hitaki. My likes, you're too young to understand. My dislikes, I don't feel like telling you. And my dream for the future is, again, you're too young to understand," he replied, providing only his name in response. He looked at Sakura and said, "Now, it's your turn, Pinky." Sakura was angry that her sensei called her that, but she chose to let it go for now. "My name is Sakura Haruno. My likes are Sasuke-kun. My dislikes are Ino Pig, Naruto, and Idiot Naruto. My dream for the future is to marry Sasuke-kun." Great. Just great. Now Kakashi had to deal with a fangirl. He despised fangirls who joined the ninja corps solely to impress someone. They didn't realize how dangerous the ninja world truly was. Many fangirls died on their first real mission, while those who survived either quit being ninja or carried traumatic experiences with them for life. Kakashi shifted his attention to Naruto, his own sensei's son. Unlike the other two, Naruto wasn't a genius and didn't train hard. He always declined training offers from his parents, preferring to play around with his friend Hinata. "Now, it's your turn, Blondie." Naruto felt irritated by the nickname but didn't show it. He smiled and replied, "My name is Naruto Namikaze. My likes are ramen, Hinata-chan, and adventure. My dislikes are the fact that you can't swim after eating a devil fruit. And my dream for the future is to find One Piece and become the Pirate King before Luffy does." Hinata burst into laughter at that, while Sakura looked puzzled by Naruto's words. Kakashi, on the other hand, didn't like the idea that his student was still just playing around. Sakura was still confused, so she asked, "What are you talking about?" She couldn't grasp the concept of One Piece. "Don't tell me you've never read One Piece. It's a very famous manga, and it's really good too. You should give it a try someday," Naruto answered. "I don't have time to read some stupid comics. I have better things to do," she replied dismissively. "Well, you're missing out on a masterpiece," Naruto told her. Kakashi was not pleased. First, he had a fangirl on his team, and now his second student wasn't taking ninja training seriously at all. He looked at Hinata, hoping she would be more dedicated. "Your turn, princess," he asked Hinata to continue introducing herself. Sakura felt a bit annoyed by her sensei's nickname for Hinata and herself, but she couldn't do anything about it. My name is Hinata. My likes are Naruto-kun, cinnamon rolls, and adventure. My dislikes are those who use their Pokemon for committing crimes. And my dream is to become a Pokemon master. Like no one ever was, Hinata introduced herself, ending with a shout reminiscent of someone who left home at the age of 10 to pursue their dream of becoming a Pokemon master. Now it was official. Kakashi had grown frustrated with his team. None of his students seemed genuinely interested in training. One was a fangirl who didn't want to train because she believed that the boy she liked wouldn't be interested in her if she became too muscular. The other two seemed content with playing around and not taking their training seriously. He was convinced he was going to fail this team. They weren't prepared to be ninjas yet. First, none of you have become real ninjas yet. There's still one more test remaining. Second, if you fail this test, not only will you not become ninjas, but you won't be allowed to enter the ninja corps again. Your next and final test will be tomorrow. So be at training. Ground 8 at 8 a.m., and I advise you not to eat breakfast unless you want to throw it up, Kakashi informed his students. Hearing this, Sakura became extremely worried. She had thought she was already a real ninja, but now her sensei was telling her otherwise. If she failed, she wouldn't be able to become a ninja at all. How would she ever impress Sasuke-kun? She was nervous but determined to do her best so that she could become a ninja. Naruto and Hinata weren't too surprised. The academy test had been challenging, but not overly difficult. They had already predicted that there would be another test. Furthermore, they knew they had already frustrated their sensei enough for him to make up his mind about their failure. It would be an interesting day tomorrow. Kakashi left the rooftop in a swirl of leaves, and when Sakura wasn't paying attention, Naruto and Hinata also left using their shunshin. Now Sakura was alone on the rooftop, her worries about tomorrow consuming her thoughts. Note. So for those who are thinking, what the hell One Piece and Pokemon doing here, I want to tell you that it's just to annoy their sensei. This isn't crossover fanfic, so there's no One Piece and Pokemon in story. They're going to use it for just fun. Final test disclaimer. I don't own Naruto and any other character in this story. Chapter 12 Final Test. Sakura stood in training ground 8, growing increasingly frustrated as the minutes ticked by. She had followed her sensei's orders and arrived on time, even skipping breakfast. However, her lazy teammates, Naruto and Hinata, were nowhere to be seen. Doubts started to creep into her mind. Did she come to the wrong training ground? She checked again, confirming that it was indeed training ground 8 and that they were supposed to meet here. Anger and annoyance welled up within Sakura. Why did she have to be stuck with two lazy teammates? To make matters worse, her sensei seemed disinterested in teaching them. She felt powerless to change her team, so she continued to wait, growing more frustrated by the minute. Meanwhile, Naruto and Hinata, who were in the habit of waking up early, had chosen to enjoy a leisurely breakfast at the bakery instead of heading straight to the training ground. It was Hinata's turn to pick the location, and she couldn't resist the temptation of cinnamon rolls. They both knew that their sensei, Kakashi, would be late as usual, so they decided to spend more time together. After a pleasant meal and some chatting, Naruto and Hinata realized it was almost 9:47 a.m., and they finally made their way to the training ground. To their surprise, Sakura was there, visibly angry and annoyed. As soon as she spotted them, she stormed over and began yelling. "Where the hell are you two? You were supposed to be here 2 hours ago, I've been waiting for you." Naruto shot her a stern glare, his usual jovial demeanor replaced by seriousness. "Sakura, calm down. I can hear you perfectly fine. Kakashi isn't here yet, so our test hasn't started. We already told you yesterday that he's always late, sometimes by almost 3 hours. It's your fault for not listening." Sakura paused for a moment, taken aback by Naruto's unexpected response. He was always the one to lighten the mood with laughter, but now he was different. She didn't want to cause any more commotion, so she decided to let it go. Another hour passed before their sensei finally arrived. Kakashi anticipated Sakura and Naruto's anger over his lateness, but to his surprise, they remained calm. Sakura, though still annoyed at her situation, had simmered down a bit. "All right, team," Kakashi began. "I hope you followed my advice. For your final test, you'll have to take these bells from me within the next 3 hours. Give it your all, or you'll fail." But sensei, there are only 2 bells, Sakura pointed out. With 3 of them on the team, one of them was bound to fail. Yes, there are only 2 bells, which means one of you will definitely fail, Kakashi confirmed as he tied the bells to his belt. The 3 of them took cover in the training ground, a large forest-like area. Kakashi observed them from a distance, noting that Sakura was still visible while Naruto and Hinata hid skillfully. He realized he would have to find Naruto and Hinata. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to judge their teamwork properly. Sakura, perched on a tree branch, contemplated how to take a bell before Naruto and Hinata. She knew they would likely work together, leaving her at a disadvantage. Suddenly, she felt a tap on her shoulder and turned around to find her sensei, wearing a smile. He performed a hand gesture, and Sakura suddenly felt drowsy. After a while, Sakura woke up, her memory fuzzy. She tried to recall what had happened, but a sharp cry of pain interrupted her thoughts. Determined to investigate, Sakura followed the sound and stumbled upon Sasuke, badly injured and on the brink of consciousness. "Oh my god, Sasuke-kun. What happened to you?" Sakura's worry and fear were evident as she rushed to his side. "Sakura, I don't think I'm going to make it. I'm sorry for hiding my true feelings. I really like you too. But now, it's goodbye. I hope you live a happy life without me," Sasuke managed to say weakly. Sakura's tears flowed uncontrollably as she pleaded, "Please. Sasuke-kun, don't leave me like this. Everything will be fine. Just stay with me." Desperately, she tried to stop the bleeding with her trembling hands, but her efforts proved futile. Overwhelmed by shock and grief, Sakura lost consciousness. Kakashi observed his student, Sakura, and decided to release her from the genjutsu. He had expected her to quickly identify it or break free, at least after some time. However, Sakura's inability to do so puzzled him. According to her file, she possessed intelligence and excellent chakra control, making it easier for her to recognize and escape simple genjutsu. It seemed she still had a long way to go before she was ready to become a ninja. While searching for Naruto and Hinata, Kakashi was surprised that he couldn't locate them. As a seasoned shinobi, he was confident in his tracking abilities, even without using his Sharingan. However, finding fresh genin who were actively hiding proved to be a challenge. Nonetheless, he abided by the rules and refrained from relying on his Kekkei Genkei. "Wow, that scream of Sakura was pretty loud," Naruto said. "I think Kakashi already got her. So Naruto-kun, do you have any plans?" Hinata asked him. "Yes, I have a very good plan. We can take the bells from him." Without revealing our true power, Naruto replied. "First, I'm going to distract him." They quickly made a plan to take the bells from Kakashi. In the middle of the training ground, Kakashi was engrossed in reading his book for research purposes. He found it challenging to track down Naruto and Hinata. He is not using his full power. Because, he valued rules above everything, thanks to the lessons from his old friend and teammate. He was quite impressed. He hadn't expected Hinata and Naruto to be so skilled at hiding. He still wasn't convinced to pass them, though. They had to prove themselves on their own. If all 3 of them attacked him together, he would pass them. After all, it is a teamwork test. But he doubted that would happen. He knew Hinata and Naruto could work well together, but he saw Sakura as the weak link. He knew she wouldn't cooperate with them. So, he relaxed and waited. 2 hours had already passed, and there was only 1 hour left. If they didn't show up now, they would fail anyway, so there was no point in hunting them down. "Hey, Kakashi, did no one tell you that reading porn in public is not a good thing?" Naruto emerged from the forest and said with a smirk. Kakashi looked at him, a little annoyed at the disrespect he was receiving, but he still appeared bored. "Oh, Naruto, you finally decide to show up. Where's your girlfriend?" he asked with boredom in his voice. "You don't have to worry about Hinata-chan. I am going to take those bells on my own," Naruto replied confidently. "A little overconfident, aren't you?" Kakashi remarked. Naruto threw 2 shuriken at Kakashi, but he effortlessly caught both without even looking. Naruto then quickly jumped towards Kakashi, launching punches and kicks at him with the basic academy style. Kakashi effortlessly dodged all the attacks without even looking at them. He's better at academy taijutsu than his report says. Did he purposefully hide his true power during his time at the academy? It's good, but not good enough to take me on. However, I have a feeling that Naruto is just a distraction. and they already have a secret attack planned. I need to keep an eye out for Hinata. Maybe they're hoping for a surprise attack, Kakashi thought while dodging Naruto's strikes. The spar continued for quite a while, but Hinata didn't join in the fight. Kakashi began to think that he had given them too much credit. Perhaps they didn't plan any secret attack after all. Soon, time was up, and Kakashi called Naruto to stop. He woke Sakura, who was still asleep from the genjutsu. She was confused for a moment until her sensei explained what had happened. Hinata also emerged from her hiding spot. "Well, I have to tell you all that you didn't do any good in this exam," said Kakashi, looking disappointed. Sakura's dream of becoming a ninja seemed to be shattered, and she couldn't be with her beloved Sasuke-kun. Sakura's expression turned crestfallen as Kakashi addressed her shortcomings. "You couldn't even identify or break through a simple genjutsu, Sakura," Kakashi remarked, his tone filled with disappointment. "Your report claims that you have excellent chakra control, so this should have been an easy task for you." Turning his attention to Naruto and Hinata, Kakashi acknowledged their impressive hiding skills. "I must admit, both of your hiding abilities are quite commendable," he acknowledged. "However, I had expected more from the two of you. I had envisioned a scenario where Naruto would distract me while Hinata executed a secret attack, but unfortunately, Hinata didn't manage to land a single attack during our test." Kakashi's expression remained stern as he delivered the verdict. "I'm sorry to tell you, but the three of you have failed." Naruto and Hinata started laughing, much to Kakashi's confusion. "What's so funny about it?" Kakashi asked, puzzled by their reaction. They had just failed the exam, yet they were laughing as if they didn't even care. Hinata managed to stop laughing and said, "Sensei, you're telling us we failed because we didn't manage to take the bells from you. But we already have both bells." She took out one bell and showed it to Kakashi, while Naruto did the same. Kakashi was surprised, quickly checking his belt only to find the bells missing. But how? When did you take them? I was careful to not let any of you take them," Kakashi asked, dumbfounded. He couldn't remember any moment when they could have taken the bells, even upon reflection. "A ninja never tells high secrets, right, sensei?" Naruto replied with a mischievous smile. Kakashi was lost for words. How did they manage to take the bells from him without him even noticing? He couldn't fail them now, especially since it was supposed to be a teamwork test, and Naruto and Hinata had clearly demonstrated some form of teamwork. Kakashi sighed and decided to pass all three of them. "It was supposed to be a teamwork test, and you three didn't have to get the bells. You just had to work with each other to pass the test. But it seems that Naruto and Hinata somehow managed to take the bells. So, I am going to pass all three of you. A team can't be formed without 3 genin, so you all pass," he informed them. "Naruto, Hinata, how did you get the bells without me even noticing?" Kakashi asked, still perplexed by their feat. He had been holding back and not paying as much attention to his surroundings as he should have, but he was confident in his abilities, believing that no fresh genin could pass him undetected. "A real ninja never reveals his tricks," Naruto replied, his smile widening. He made it clear that he wasn't going to tell Kakashi how they got the bells. Accepting that he might not uncover the truth for now, Kakashi decided to let it go. As their sensei, he would have more opportunities to witness their full potential. "So, from now on, we are Team 8. Tomorrow, meet here at the training ground at 8 a.m., Kakashi instructed. "You mean 11 a.m., right, sensei?" Hinata stated, more than asking. "Whatever," Kakashi responded nonchalantly before leaving. Sakura, relieved that she had passed the exam despite not doing much, also left, leaving Naruto and Hinata alone. "Man, that was close. It's a good thing he didn't notice how we got the bells," Naruto said, exhaling with relief. "You're right, Naruto-kun. If it wasn't for the gift that our mother gave us back then, we couldn't have taken the bells without him noticing. He's a jonin, after all, even if he wasn't using his full power," Hinata replied. "You're right. Mother's gift is pretty useful. It seems that we still couldn't use it properly even after 2 years of practice. We still need more chakra and chakra control," Naruto reflected. "Our chakra levels are already at a low to mid-jonin level, and we have excellent chakra control. But it's still too powerful for us to use freely right now. We can't solely depend on our eyes," Hinata explained thoughtfully. My first flashback 2 years ago. It's already been 4 years since we met, Mother. Now we have almost perfect chakra control, and our chakra levels are close to that of a low-level Jonin, Naruto-kun, Hinata told him. You're right, but we're still not strong enough. We need to become even stronger if we want to free Mother, Naruto replied, determination in his voice. Hey, Naruto-kun, do you remember what Mother said before she disappeared? She told us to use our chakra in our eyes when we have enough. Do you think we should try that? Hinata suggested. I remember that. Do you think we'll develop an amazing dujutsu like Mother? She has the Byakugan that you already possess, as well as her third eye. What was it called again? Yes, the Rinsaringan. Do you think I will get something like the Sharingan? Naruto asked, his curiosity evident. Well, I already have the Byakugan, so I don't know. Let's just use our chakra in our eyes, Naruto-kun, and we'll find out soon enough, Hinata suggested, her voice filled with anticipation. Okay. Naruto agreed, and he began channeling chakra into his eyes. Nothing's happening, Hinata-chan, he said, disappointment evident in his voice. Just try using more chakra, Naruto-kun, Hinata encouraged him, and with that, he continued channeling even more chakra. Soon, his eyes started to change. His sky-blue eyes transformed into a striking silver, devoid of pupils, much like Hinata's. However, within his silver eyes, black rings emerged, similar to their mother's third eye. It was both the same and different at the same time. The eyes bore a resemblance to the Sage of Six Paths' eyes, with only the color being different, a testament to Naruto's possession of Sage Chakra. Wow, Naruto-kun, your eyes have changed. They look so beautiful, Hinata exclaimed, admiration in her voice. She took out a small mirror she had with her, and Naruto gazed at his reflection, mesmerized by his new eyes. They're awesome. I wonder what amazing things I can do. Ah! Naruto suddenly closed his eyes and cried out in pain. What happened, Naruto-kun? Hinata asked, her worry evident as Naruto writhed in pain. Naruto opened his eyes, and they were back to their normal state. Don't worry, Hinata-chan. I think I used up too much chakra. Even though our chakra levels are nearing Jonin level, activating my eyes for just a few minutes drained me completely, he explained, trying to reassure her. So, what do you think these eyes are called? We've never seen eyes like these before. In Mother's memories, only she and her older son had eyes like this. And your eyes look more like the sage's. I think they're called the Rinnegan, Hinata replied, pondering over the name. You're right. I still don't know what I can do with these eyes, but we'll figure it out later. Now, Hinata-chan, it's your turn, Naruto said, redirecting the conversation. Do you think my eyes will also change? I mean, I already have the Byakugan, Hinata wondered aloud, unsure of what to expect. Don't worry about it, just give it a try, Naruto reassured her, his confidence boosting her own. Okay. Now or never, Hinata determinedly began channeling her chakra towards her eyes. First, her Byakugan activated, but she didn't stop there. She continued to infuse more chakra, pushing herself further. Her eyes underwent a transformation as well. They no longer remained pupil-less but turned into a mesmerizing shade of blue, similar to Naruto's. In the center of her pupil, a beautiful white flower emerged. Naruto was captivated by the ethereal beauty of her eyes, unable to put his admiration into words. The cage bird seal that had once marred her forehead began to fade away, being absorbed into her sky-blue eyes. Wow, Hinata-chan, your eyes are even more beautiful than mine. I've never seen anything quite like it, Naruto praised her, his voice filled with genuine awe. Hinata blushed, feeling a warmth spread through her heart. She took the mirror from Naruto's hand and looked at her reflection. True to his words, her eyes truly appeared exquisite. She couldn't contain her happiness. My seal, it's gone. It's really gone. I'm so happy right now, Hinata exclaimed, her joy overflowing. She jumped around in elation and hugged Naruto tightly. Yes, Hinata-chan, the cage bird seal is finally gone. But we mustn't let anyone find out. If the Hyuga clan discovers this, they might try to take you away from me, or worse, subject you to torture to learn how did you remove the seal, Naruto cautioned, his voice filled with concern. Hinata's worry creased her brow. No, I don't ever want to bear that horrible seal again, she uttered, the memory of the pain it caused her still fresh in her mind. Don't worry, Hinata-chan. As long as no one discovers that the seal is gone, you won't have to go through that again. We just need to pretend that the seal is still there, Naruto suggested, attempting to assuage her fears. Relieved, Hinata's countenance brightened. Okay, I understand. So, what should we do now, Naruto-kun? What's our next plan? She inquired, eager to know their next steps. First, we have to find a name for your beautiful eyes. Then, we need to train even harder and learn how to fully utilize our newfound abilities, Naruto replied, his determination shining through. In the Hyuga clan, my mother often told me stories about the founder of the clan. His eyes were different from the others, and they were called the Tensigen. I remember it vividly. His eyes also resembled a flower, just like mine, Hinata recalled, her voice laced with nostalgia. That's a perfect name. With your beautiful eyes, you truly resemble an angel, Naruto complimented, his words filled with sincerity. Hinata blushed once more, her growing comfort in Naruto's presence accompanied by a touch of shyness. Yes, we must train even harder now, with our new eyes, she agreed, determination shining in her gaze. End of flashback. Yeah, if it hadn't been for the powerful genjutsu of my Tensigen, we wouldn't have been able to retrieve the bells from the Jonin-level shinobi without him noticing, Hinata replied, pride evident in her voice. Well, we have managed to discover some of the abilities of our eyes. We can now use them for up to 10 minutes without worrying about running out of chakra. However, we can't rely solely on our eyes. We need to continue training and find ways to improve our overall skills, Naruto suggested, emphasizing the importance of their relentless pursuit of growth. We will train later, but for now, let's celebrate our victory. How about going to the bakery? Hinata proposed, her eyes sparkling with anticipation. It's not fair, Hinata-chan. We already ate at the bakery this morning. It's my turn to choose, so let's go for ramen, Naruto protested, his love for the savory noodles evident. But ramen isn't good for our health. Let's have some cinnamon rolls instead, Hinata argued, concerned about their well-being. We should go to Ichiraku, Naruto insisted, a mischievous glint in his eyes. No, the bakery, Hinata countered, her determination unwavering. Let's settle this the old-fashioned way, Naruto suggested, a smile tugging at the corners of his lips. Yes, rock, paper, scissors, Hinata agreed, ready to determine their fate. Rock, paper, scissors, they both chanted simultaneously, their hands forming the respective gestures. Naruto chose rock, while Hinata chose paper. Hooray, I win, Naruto-kun. That means we're going to have cinnamon rolls, Hinata declared victoriously, a playful gleam in her eyes. Naruto pouted, but couldn't help but smile at Hinata's excitement. All right, you win this time, Hinata-chan. Cinnamon rolls it is, he conceded, knowing that her happiness was worth it. Author note. So for those who wondering if I am going to make Naruto and Hinata powerful like no one ever was. Sorry, but I have to tell you that I am not going to make them stronger right out of bed. They're going to become stronger slowly. If you're wondering how much stronger they are right now, to tell you they can beat Kakashi if they work together. They can give him pretty much tough fight in version 1. They can beat every normal Jonin level shinobi easily. And I also want your help. You can suggest ability of Tensigen and Rinnegan with names. I am not good at naming. And if you are going to suggest any ability, please don't suggest 2-op ability that makes them unbeatable. Chapter 13 Disclaimer. I don't own Naruto and any other character in this story. I just want to say I am lazy and I don't know how to write fighting scenes and I am terrible at remembering names, that's why I haven't continued story. But no matter if some of you don't like this story, I am still gonna complete it. But it's really gonna take long time and it's going to be really slow story because I don't want it to end. Kakashi is confused about his students. He was sure that Naruto although may have holding back in academy, but he didn't expect that those two were gonna take his bells. He underestimate them and pay the price. Although he wasn't too sure about Sakura, he just pass her because her mother is in village civilian council. It's not like he is afraid of her or anything, it's just he doesn't want to waste his time on arguing her when he could use that time in good use, not reading that porn book, I swear. And besides, if he passed them he could easily keep eyes on them and try to figure out what's going on. Kakashi with his fellow Jonin is currently standing in front of Hokage. They are here to give report on which teams are managed to pass and which teams need at least one more year for training. Don't get me wrong, being ninja is pretty hard. It's physically and mentally tiring. There's 14 team pass academy test, but if you ask Kakashi, he would gonna say that in time of peace academy lower its standard too much. That's why they have to take another exam. Kakashi watch as slowly every jonin that assigned team come and give report on their team. Most of teams fail test. They need some more training if they still wants to be a ninja. Then finally Kushina said her team passed the exam. It wasn't surprising. Both Naruto and Akari was trained personally by them since very young age. And Sasuke is also prodigy when it comes to train. That boy keep training. He was so annoyed at the fact that both Naruto and Akari is so much ahead of him. It's finally his turn. Kakashi steps forward. My team has also passed the exam. Kakashi can see Hokage's surprised face. Maybe he also thinks that his son cannot pass exam. It made clear to Kakashi that his sensei doesn't know anything about Naruto and Hinata. He is going to stay and talk with him after every jonin gave their report. Well, Team 10 also passed. It wasn't as surprising as well because Shikamaru, Ino and Choji were really good friends from childhood, mainly because of their parents' relationship. And they can work together well. Team 11 also passed. Kiba give them little trouble because he doesn't want to take order from someone else and consider himself as alpha of group. But Shino and Yakumo able to convince him to work together. Kakashi is really disappointed if you asked him. 14 team passed academy test but only 4 managed to pass real test. Academy standard is really low these days. After almost everyone leave the room, Minato stopped Kakashi. Kakashi, tell me about your test. Did you check their teamwork and let them pass? Minato frowned a little. Or did you pass them cause one of them is my son and the other is daughter of one of the civilian council members? Kakashi look at his sensei and reply. Sensei, how much do you know about Naruto and Hinata's training? Are you secretly training both of them? Minato was taken aback. He didn't expect this question. Know what happened in test? Minato asked, hoping that he can find out what his student is talking about. They managed to take bells from me. Kakashi replied. Minato is surprised once again. He knows how much capable ninja Kakashi is. And even though for this test they restrict them to holding back, there's no way Naruto can take bells from Kakashi. Maybe he didn't give his son enough credits. Did they take bells with teamwork? Minato asked. No matter how he looked at it, he couldn't possibly imagine his son to take bells from Kakashi. Kakashi really? Yes and no. Although Naruto and Hinata showed great teamwork, Sakura just doesn't want to work with them. And I still don't know how Naruto and Hinata managed to take bells from me. Well, it's officially Minato's most surprising day. He doesn't think that he is gonna surprise as many times he did today. He doesn't know how wrong he is. What do you mean you don't know how they get bells? Minato asked. It's exactly what I said. I don't know what they did, but they managed to take bells. Kakashi really? Minato knew that both his son and former Hyuga heir was training in secret, but he didn't pay much attention because it looks like they're just playing around rather than training. But now when he heard all of this, he knew that they were really training, and he doesn't have any idea how far his son is in his training. He just considered asking him, but then he realized that he didn't talk with his son that much. He doesn't remember any good conversation he had with his son. He was so busy in his Hokage work and training his 2 daughters, he didn't give much attention to his son. And after Hinata started living with them, Naruto preferred to hang out with her rather than any other family members. Kakashi, keep an eye on both of them, and tell me how much progress they have made so far, Minato told his student. Hi sensei. Kakashi replied and left room, leaving very thoughtful Minato behind. Naruto and Hinata is having great time. They're finally ninja now. It isn't much, but they're just HPPY, and that's what matters. Hinata finally agreed to go eat ramen. And it made Naruto so much happy. They're currently eating ramen. Tucci, sorry if I wrote it incorrect, is happy for both of them and give them 1 bowl each free. He was going to make everything they eat free today, but he isn't fool. He knows how much ramen Naruto can eat and Hinata can also eat a lot surprisingly. He isn't sure who is gonna win if there's ramen eating contest between them, and he don't wanna know either. So what's we are going to do now, Naruto-kun? Hinata asked. Naruto think for a moment and then reply, first we don't have any Idea where mother is sealed. So first we have to find out that and the way to unseal her. I do remember reading that the saga that sealed Ten Tail has two sons, who create Uchiha and Senju clans. So maybe we can find out what we want in Uchiha and Senju clans compound. You're really smart, you know that, right, Hinata-chan? But we still have one problem. I know it's easy to get inside both Uchiha and Senju clans compound cause both clans are already destroyed. We still need to go inside Hyuga clan somehow. We saw that one the children mother has had Byakugan and mother herself had Byakugan. It won't be easy to go inside clan who is famous to have eyes that can see everything. Naruto told her. Hinata is little sad after hearing her claw, form our clan. She doesn't want to be part of that family anymore. But Naruto has a point. If they wants all knowledge, then they have to get inside Hyuga clan. And it's not that easy. I think we should wait for perfect chance, Naruto-kun. And we still need to train hard. We are strong, but we can't take whole clan or village, yet. You are right, Hinata-chan. We have to get stronger. His eyes are so determined. Then Hinata remembers something. Hey Naruto-kun. I think I have a good plan. She smirked and said. You know each years there's a Chunin exam. And we are lucky that this time around that exam is going to take place here. Naruto understand what she is trying to say and smirk as well. Yeah, and when so many ninja from different villages are here, they have to make security extra around village. And that's perfect time for us to complete our task. Let me tell you guys something. I just changed my text style in my phone and it looks good. That's the reason I started to write it again.